jìnnà sí wọn bí sánmọ̀ sílẹ̀ o ara ló ń ta wọn ṣe mọ́ o náà bá sunkún sójú bẹ̀rẹ̀ má ti fi ìgbín sọ kó fẹ́ yẹ ẹyẹ fò lọ ìgbín sọnù sígbó wọ́n dúró títí ọwọ́ wọn ò tó ìṣó máa ṣe ta ní kókó ṣòkòtò tí olókùn ó dá kìtìyàn ó dórí àwọn lọ́tẹ̀ o. Ṣí mi lọ́nà o mo tẹríba fàdàgbà o àgbà ẹ foríjì ni ojoojúmọ́ ni mo ń pọ́n wọn lé mo ń ṣèyá sí àwọn àgbà o tí o fojú ti rìn wọn láyé ọmọdé ẹ má fàgbà ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ torí oníkọ́ tó yọ lání ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o màmá ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Máa ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà. Bọ́lájú kòkòrò bá pẹ́ràn nígbó tó bá fúnra ẹ̀pín ló dára jù o. Kọ̀wé mi á jẹ́ dàgbà o. Èyí mo rí màrò ẹ̀kọ́ gbogbo náà ní ilé ayé. Sùúrù ní ṣẹ́gun ohun gbogbo. Ẹ má ṣèké mo ní ẹ má dalẹ̀. Forí orí kìlọ̀ ló jẹ́ ẹni forí wórí yìí yóò sábà mọ́ àwa ò ní sábà mọ́ láyé o nílé ayé o àwa ò ní sábà mọ́ láyé àwa ò ní sábà mọ́ láyé àwa ò ní sábà mọ́ láyé dẹ́bìtọ̀ rẹ̀ àtàrà ilé o àwa ò ní sábà mọ́ láyé àwa ò ní sábà mọ́ láyé àwa ò ní sábà. Ṣókótó wọn múra wọn sáré kẹrù sọkọ o àyànmọ́ ògbóògùn o wọn ò béèrè lọ́wọ́ orí mórí lọ́mọ mẹ́wàá lọ ìyàwó ohun tí ẹ wá lọ sí Ṣókótó ohun rẹ lágbo Ṣókótó mo sọ àkúnlẹ̀yàn ọmọ ẹ̀dá láyé kò lè yí padà mo ń tẹnu mọ́ o olórí làlá bàrò orí làlá bàrò olórí làlá bàrò mo lórí làlá bàrò olórí làlá bàrò orí mi gbé mi níjà o olórí làlá bàrò làlá bàrò olórí làlá bàrò oríjà jogun ìkànnì wọn rí má fi wá fáyé mu nílé ayé wa o olúwa àgbẹ̀ wa níyàwó àmì nílé ayé wa ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọ̀tá kọ́ ni wá ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọ̀tá kọ́ lẹ́yìn ṣọ́wa nínú ọ̀pá wọn kìnìún ejò olóró àkékè ṣọ́wa nínú ìdàgìrì ayé dáàbò ẹ̀bùn wá fi ṣọ́rẹ́ ṣọ́wa o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o mo máa sádì ọba bá lókè o. Olúwa gbé wa níjà o. Mo sádì ọba bá lókè o. Kó má fi wá sílẹ̀ o. Mo sádì ọba bá lókè o. Olúwa má fi wá sílẹ̀ o. Mo sádì ọba bá lókè o. Àwọn ọ̀tá tí wọ́n rè rajọ ìbànújẹ́ ti.
These recent elections, it's unfortunate that because the two things happened, first of all. One party took over the labor movement, which is one of my favorite movements also. And then it became a regional party, more than, whereas it was a marvelous breach into the established two camps. Peter Obi achieved something remarkable there, that he broke that mold. Yes, however, he did not win the election. In addition, my own organization has a monitoring unit. You know the one I'm talking about. And so I could say categorically that Peter Obi's party came third, not even second. And that the leadership knew it. But they wanted to do what we call in Yoruba, Bajue. That is, you have force of arms. You also have force of lies. And it was gearing up towards violence. They were going to send some of the hardliners.
Tinubu Ahmed of the APC, 8,794,726. Miadi Peter Nana Chukwudi of Abga, 61,066.
Thank you.
You have to be fast. Of the APC. Is hereby declared the winner and is returned.
I don't suffer, no be small. But say I get sense. Poverty no good at all. Now it make I join this business. For one night, no be cheap. It's once again, everybody will pay up. If anybody follow Mugu, my brother, I go chop back. National Stadium. President, my sister, brother. We be the Mogo, I be the master. Oh, man, I go chop your dollar. I go take your money, disappear. For one time in the Betty, you be the Mogo, I be the master. The refinery, let me get her. The contract, now you wife. But you won't pay me some more money, make I bring her. You be the Mogo, I be the master. When you go play one, they go say na you style. When countryman do he go, they know the shout. Killer, killer, die. Whatever you go find it, I say, I don't see them fire. That's why when they run enter my miracle, I go show them fire. National airport, National Stadium, President, my sister, brother. You be the Mogo, I be the master. The refinery, the contract, now you wife. But you won't pay me some more money than I bring her. You be the Mogo, I be the master. I be the master, oh. I hear you. You know, when I came here earlier,
All right, all that. So that should actually land on my face. I prefer it when I unmute for it to land on my face. So I'm going to play another song and then I'll make sure. Do you know who actually sent this in? This was sent in by Zeta. That image you have on your screen right there, which has now become the standard template to the backdrop of the sessions, that was sent in by Zeta. But I always remove it for it to land. I say land on my face, to land on my avatar. So that's how I prefer it. So why don't we play another little ditty and then we land on our face?
Another Savior. Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior. Another Savior. Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior. Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPOB families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 Olumewojuku is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 Olumewojuku is another Savior. Holy, 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 Olumewojuku is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now.
All right, enough of that. I only really downloaded that song for yesterday's session, the Nnamdi Kanu protest or riot, however. So the unveiling of Showore as a clownish figure is essentially the outtake of that. We also saw him running We all saw him running away from the scene of the incident. So that was really why I downloaded that. But by the way, the this session right here is in the lap of the gods. So whatever happens in this session, I I I, I abstain all responsibility for whatever happens in this session. I've been at the brandy a little bit, and I still have a healthy dose of brandy in a glass right next to me. So whatever happens, it's all down to the brand. And I don't even drink that much. But today I just had a sip and then I had another one, and you know how it goes. But there it is. I say I don't drink that much. Do I drink that much? I don't even know. But I don't think I'm unreasonably a drinker. I don't think I'm excessively into it. But I wouldn't say no to a glass. But I don't chase it aggressively. But all that. So good day to you. Good to be in your company of that. Good day. So I've what oh, they call it a disclaimer. So I've put that disclaimer in. So whatever happens subsequently is in the lap of the brandy. So good day to you. Good to be in your company of that. Good day to you. Good to be in your company. And how are you? Hope you've had a gloriously wonderful day, cascading into yet another session. Your friendly neighborhood or your laughing man. One man went to mow. So one man went to mow the eagle lands again. There's not an abundance in the news cycle, by the way. So we will eat what we grow, according to what Buhari told us. We have to eat what we grow with this particular session. But yes. Oh, so thank you. So follow what's been said by Niger man. You have to change your name back to Niger man. I'm not quite sure what this Spanish thing means, but just change it back to Niger man. That's what we know and love. That's the name we know you for and love you for. So follow what's been said by Niger man right there. It says kindly share and subscribe as you join the session. Thanks. So do exactly. If you don't listen to me, listen to Niger man. He's an Edo man, by the way, not even a Yoruba man. So you can't even park your resentment on the ethnicity because you're not being directed from the Sapele Water people. So good day to you, good to be in your company, or that. Good day to you, good to be in your company, and how are you? Hope you've had a gloriously wonderful day, as I said, cascading into yet another session, as I said. Son of God is what Hijo de Dios means. So, Niger man now going under Hijo de Dios, we say Son of God. That's quite a claim. That's almost blasphemous, really, to say that. So good day to you and all that. The protocol remains the same. Click on the like button just as I invite you to do so. Do so. Click on the like button. Not already subscribed, please correct that. If please share the links just as widely as you can. Copy the links and put it in all of your social media spaces. Put it in your WhatsApp groups, your Instagram spaces, that Facebook group that everybody hates you. So put it in there. Put it in all the weird and wonderful spaces. Um, and super chat towards the stream, just exactly as been exemplified by the delightful. You know the thing with Hassan. I've been moonlighting on TikTok over the last couple of months or so. And I think maybe tomorrow I have to bring you onto TikTok. Because the place is bereft of any conversation of meaning. So there's an opportunity for us to sanitize that space because I've been spending quite a bit of time there and I've not yet come across anything that even looks in the region of an intelligent conversation. So I think I'm going to be bringing you in there maybe sometime tomorrow just to open up that space to what the possibilities could be. So click on like, click on subscribe, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard, share the links just as widely as you can, and as just been demonstrated by Hassan there, super chats towards the stream. All those weird and wonderful things. Do all those, no, not weird and wonderful, all those funky and wonderful things. Do the funky, wonderful things. And as I said, by the way, I'm putting in the disclaimer. I've had quite a couple of shots of brandy. So whatever comes out of my mouth, I'm putting out a disclaimer for it, etc. So and say hello in the comment section as well. As you are coming in, say hello in the comment section so I can acknowledge your presence. As ever often instances is Agbado Omotinobu that kicks it off. He always leaves the hello even before the session starts. And we have the Hijo de Dios that sometimes moonlights as a Niger man. There he is right there, encouraging you to like, share, subscribe, etc. So and this is Ajani Oribayo right there. They don't get more established Yoruba name than that. And that's DJ Dodoye right there. So he said hello, and I say hello back to him. Uh, Wazobia Dark Room. That is Hassan's platform on all his social media handles. Streams regularly. If you like those deep diving esoteric, you've listened to Hassan often instances, and not the problem, but the delight with Hassan is he's so educated and so intelligent that he tries to condense all that education and intelligence into bite-sized chunks that can be digested by low-witted people like you and I. So Hassan then is dumbing down to come and hang out with the hoi polloi. Hoi polloi being you and I. That's me, Adriana, right there. Good to see you, Adriana. That's a late vlog Igwe right there, otherwise known as Charlie Boy. So keep saying hello in the comment section. Just as you're coming in, acknowledge your presence and say hello back. That's peace forever. Hello, one man. I say kini sure. Kile jelano, eron shikini. So all that. Why don't we just get started? Like I said, there's not an abundance in the news, and I've been at the source a little bit, but and nevertheless, we kick it off. Wike vows to show social media president Tinubu's achievements in 20 days. So now there's a side bet fight brewing between Yemsen Wike and Peter Obi. So we saw it a couple of weeks ago when Wike came out and described Peter Obi as a social media president, and that statement, it resonated so much that I think he's hanging on to it now and trying to make a theme out of it. Wike vows to show social media president Tinubu's achievements in 20 days. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Yemson Wike has declared that he would use 20 days to show social media presidents and Nigerians what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has done in the educational sector in the Federal Capital Territory. So what seems to rankle Yemsin Wike somewhat is that Peter Obi went to some obscure school in Abuja and it was highlighting then the deplorable state of that school, and Yemsin Wike was somewhat jarred by that. So he responded to Peter Obi that, look, I've only been here about 2 years because, of course, the ministers came in latterly. You say Tinubu's administration has been there for 2.5 years, but the ministers came in latterly. So roughly, James Wike has been in administration of the FCT for about 2 years. And the response to James Wike then was that, look, I have only been here for about 2 years, but within those 2 years, I have done 10 times more than you ever achieved in your 8 years as the administrator of Anambra State. But that school that Peter Obi went to try and somewhat try to rubbish Wike's achievements, it seems to have jarred Wike somewhat. Wike vows to show social media president Tinubu's achievements in 20 days. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Yemson Wike has declared that he would use 20 days to show social media presidents and Nigerians what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has done in the educational sector in the Federal Capital Territory. Wike spoke during the commissioning of the newly provided engineering infrastructure in Wuye district. He said, "We will take 20 days to show Nigerians, to show social media president what we have done in the education sector. So we are not going to rush. We are not going to rush. We are going to shock them. with what we have done in the education sector so that they will know that President Tinubu's administration is not only concentrating on the infrastructures in the FCT, regards the road networks, it is also focusing on the education sector. The minister said he would take a pause after 20 days of flagging off and commissioning projects. I have told the chief of staff we are going to end our flag off, our commissioning, at least for today. 20 days is not 2 days. So we will take a rest and come back and focus on education, he said. So that's Yemse Wike then looking to beat Peter Obi. You know, the 2027 election, a lot of it, the narrative, the the media build-ups and the campaignings and everything, a lot of it will actually be Yemsen Wike versus Peter Obi because Yemsen Wike he has the whip hand. That's WHIP. He has the whip hand over Peter Obi. Yemsen Wike can flog Peter Obi easily because he has the language and he has the brevity and he has, that little dig. He knows how to dig into you with a particular sort of tonality. So the 2027 build-up is very much going to be a narrative of Yemsen Wike prodding at Peter Obi. Ohaneze Lagos backs Tinubu's 2027 bid. So I think even the Ohaneze at the national level backs Tinubu as well. But we'll see closer to the elections if they are going to be bullied by their ethnic stock. Ohaneze Lagos backs Tinubu's 2027 bid. I'm only going to give you a couple of paragraphs on this. The Ohaneze Indigbo in Lagos on Monday expressed confidence in President Bola Tinubu's re-election prospects ahead of the 2027 general elections. Chief Sunday Ude, the President General of the Social Cultural Group, stated this in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria NAN in Lagos. So that's Ohaneze back in Tinubu right there. So I'm not going to really expand too much more on that. So we go on from that to another one, but we still stay very much within that southeastern cusp. So we still stay very much within that southeastern cusp, but we go into the next story, though southeastern, but coming out of Lagos. Fire got popular Alaba market in Lagos. So now, this headline now, it doesn't come as a surprise to me, but I have the anticipation that we will see a lot more of this post 2027. A lot of people feel that post the 2027 elections, there might be activities around that Alaba space. Fire got popular Alaba market in Lagos. So this might well just be incidental, but then of course, very, very quickly they'll give it an ethnic tonality. Goods worth millions of naira have been destroyed following a massive fire at the popular Alaba International Market in Lagos. Correspondents report that the fire incident, which occurred on Tuesday evening, destroyed several shops and sent traders into a panic. A live TikTok broadcast. Actually, I think we have a little snippet of it, so we just. So that's the Alaba market right there. I wonder what reasons they are giving for this. Actually, pardon me. Goods worth millions of naira have been destroyed following a massive fire at the popular Alaba International Market in Lagos. Correspondents report that the fire incident, which occurred on Tuesday evening, destroyed several shops and sent traders into a panic. A live TikTok broadcast by user KB Clothing showed thick smoke billowing from multiple sections of the market as traders and onlookers wailed helplessly. In a live footage, hundreds of people were seen crying and mourning the loss of their goods, whilst others made frantic efforts to salvage what they could before the flame spread further. Eyewitnesses could be heard shouting for help as the flame. I wonder if the local or if the local or state authorities actually obliges these people to have a fire, at least a fire engine at the ready. They must compel Alaba market to have some sort of fire engine, or even a mini fire service at the ready within that space. It has to be part of the requirements of that space. Uh, in the live footage, hundreds of people were seen crying and mourning the loss of their goods, whilst others made frantic efforts to salvage what they could before the flame spread further. Eyewitnesses could be heard shouting for help as the flame tore through rows of locked shops and warehouses, with some traders accusing market security of responding too slowly. Operatives of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service were also seen at the scene battling to contain the inferno. Though the fire was still raging as at the time of filing the report, the Alaba International Market, located along the Lagos Badagry Expressway, is one of Nigeria's largest electronics and building material hubs, housing thousands of traders across the country and West Africa. So that's Alaba Market right there. Uh, well, I have my thoughts, but I'm not going to share them just yet. There's all of the anticipation that we'll see a lot more activities around that Alaba market space after the 2027 elections. We'll see how that goes. Um, Oh, all right, let's go on from that to the next one. So, still staying very much within the cusp of the Southeast, Governor Alex Oti finally breaks silence on defecting to the APC. So, is if not when, I don't see Alex Oti presenting as the Labour Party candidate come 2027, where there's all of the expectations that he will be an APC candidate in 2027. Governor Alex Oti finally breaks silence on defecting to APC. Abia State Government Dr. Alex Oti has denied reports circulating on social media that he has defected from the Labour Party LP to the All Progressive Congress APC. The governor's reaction followed claims by some online platforms suggesting that Oti had abandoned the Labour Party, the platform that brought him to power, to join the ruling party. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the Abia State Commissioner for Information, Prince Oke Kanu, described the defection story as completely false and the work of political mischief makers trying to distract the government. Kanu said those behind the rumors are uncomfortable with the governor's steady performance and growing popularity across the political landscape. He said Governor Alex Oti remains a committed and proud member of the Labour Party, the platform under which the good people of Abia overwhelmingly elected him to serve. According to him, Oti's focus has not changed. It remains on rebuilding Abia, promoting transparency, and ensuring that every part of the state feels the impact of good governance. The commissioner further reminded the public that during the October edition of Governor Alex Oti Speaks to Abians, the governor had clearly stated that his interest was not in political defections or power play, but in the so it's just nonsense. Just completely throw in the bin anytime you hear a politician say this that his interest is not in politics but in governance. Every politician's interest is entirely about politics. Governance is just incidental to their original and their primal interest. Every politician has to be primarily interested and active in politics for them to continue to be relevant so that they can have that governance. So don't forget all of these things that I'm focusing on. Which politician in the history of mankind has ever focused on governance? Every politician politics all the way through. The commissioner further reminded the public that during the October edition of Governor Alex Otis Speaks to Abians, the governor had clearly stated that his interest was not in political defections or power play, but in genuine service and the transformation of Abia. However, the statement reaffirmed Otis' loyalty to Labour Party, describing his administration as one guided by the principles of. So anyway, is denying that is defecting to the APC, but ultimately because all of the expediency of politics leads him to APC. At some point sooner rather than later, he will defect to the APC. Senate passes bill to establish mine rangers service. So is this is a Dele Alake storyline, of course, because Dele Alake is asking for weapons to go and confront those people taking gold in Zamfara illegally. Senate passes bill to establish mines rangers service. So that's very much for the Ministry of Solid Minerals, which is, of course, Dele Alake's ministry. The Senate on Tuesday passed a bill seeking to establish the Nigeria Mines Rangers Service, a specialized security outfit designed to combat illegal and artisanal mining activities across the country. Sponsored by Senator Mohammed Onowa, SDP Nasarawa, the bill aims to provide a legal framework for safeguarding mine operations, enforcing environmental and safety regulations, and promoting stability, sustainable mining practices in Nigeria's extractive sector. According to Onawo, so Onawo doesn't especially sound like an Hausa Fulani name to me, but it's SDP Nasarawa. I never even knew that SDP had a senator. According to Onawo, the NMRS, so is that the Nigerian Mining Security Service? What are they called again? Yes, the Nigerian Mining. What's the M for? The Nigerian Mining something Security Service, I should say. According to Ono, whatever his name is, the service will be tasked with the responsibility such as curbing illegal mining, rescuing trapped miners, providing emergency medical responses, investigating mining accidents, and ensuring compliance with mining standards. The establishment of the Nigeria Mining Rangers, so yes, Rangers service, he said, will help to safeguard mining operations, enforcing mining environmental and safety regulations, and promote sustainable mining practice in Nigeria. That's long overdue, but as ever, these things take their time to pass through Parliament. We go on from that to the next one. Fashola makes cryptic comments on politicians' children video trend. So I know nothing about this other than this headline. So if you can just find the video, then it makes it easier. Let me see where is the video. Oh, all right. I think this link might well take us to the video. Now, what does that? Oh. Oh, all right. Let's see what Fashola has to say. I think this might well be a Sheyi Tinubu narrative. I wonder.
At the state level, we used to be the party that used to lead the votes, and the others followed. Our closest opposition back then used to have about 1/3 of the total votes that we got. That was what it used to look like. And so what has happened? Why have the votes dropped? And I think that is the heart of the matter. There are a lot of numbers here, but I don't want to go into interrogating all of those numbers. And there was a time when I recall that we actually turned out for ourselves 1.5 million votes. And our closest rival was still around 300,000. But since then, what has happened? I think those are the real questions that this meeting must provoke us to ask. Where are our traditional voters? Are they still with us? Are they turning out for us? And why are they not turning out enough? This is a time for honest answers and for honest questions. And I hope those questions will be asked, as I said, after this meeting by people who are resolved, as we must be, to ensure that we turn out voters for the next election. And some of the questions to ask is whether our policies and programs are still resonating with our traditional base. Another question to ask ourselves, even as members, is what is our own are our traditional voters? Are they still with us? Are they turning out for us? And why are they not turning out enough? This is a time for honest answers.
Oh, sorry. I made a rather grand and eloquent speech right there, but I didn't even know I was muted. I was saying that what Fashola is saying right here is really is speaking to Tinubu right there. So what he is saying is that are the Tinubu policies resonating with the not just their base voters but also the wider community. So that's what he's saying. Because if you look at Tinubu's projects, a lot of them are medium to long term projects, like the Lagos Calabar Superhighway or the Badagry Sokoto Superhighway, the Sokoto Badagry Superhighway. Those are medium to long term projects, and that is where a lot of the energy of the government is in. A lot, in fact, a good abundance of the energy of this governance, of this government, are geared more towards legacy projects than immediate needs. So Tinubu is governing more towards his name permanently resonating within the Nigerian space, because of course when they complete that Lagos Calabar Superhighway and the Sokoto Badagry Superhighway, from that moment until the world comes to an end, his legacy is secured. His name will continue to be a preeminent name within the Nigerian landscape based on those two projects alone and a few other projects as well, but especially those two projects. So what Fashola is saying here is that their voters are shrinking, they are not turning out in numbers, and is asking why, and is asking if they are meeting the needs of their voters, and by their voters extended to the wider needs of our Nigerians in general. And they might not necessarily be doing that because their they are governing more towards the medium to long term rather than the immediate, most paramount needs of both their electorates and Nigerians. And that is the space that Fashola is speaking to.
Answers and for honest questions, votes. At the state level, we used to be the party that used to lead the votes, and the others followed. Our closest opposition back then used to have about 1/3 of the total votes that we got. That was what it used to look like. And so what has happened? Why have the votes dropped? And I think that is the heart of the matter. There are a lot of numbers here, but I don't want to go into interrogating all of those numbers. And there was a time when I recall that we actually turned out for ourselves 1.5 million votes. And our closest rival was still around 300,000. But since then, what has happened? I think those are the real questions that this meeting must.
You know, if you take Lagos State as a test case, it's a narrative of diminishing returns in terms of the APC Tinubu hold on that space. You will say is his hold starting to loosen on that space a bit. You may make that argument. There may be some veracity to it. There may not be, but probably more likely is that the dynamism of both Lagos State is politics and the changing demography of Lagos State as well, it makes it so that that stranglehold cannot sustain in the manner that it previously did. So when Tinubu came in 1999, he had just the vastness. Who was his closest rival? It was Funshaw Williams, who died mysteriously, and Tinubu had free reign over that state ever since. And it's had that hold on that state, and it made sure to secure that hold as well, covering all of the portals that will ensure that it continues to hold on to that state. But the changing dynamism of Lagos politics, because we're now seeing some really heavy hitting, articulate big names coming into Lagos politics now. Like Chinedu Rosevivo, you have to say is a robust name, and there's a Doherty guy. So all manners of dynamic space there, and then you have Bode Williams constantly throwing arrows and all of that. So that stranglehold it can no longer sustain in the manner that it previously used to. So now what they now need to do is to recalibrate and factor in all the changing dynamics. And the demography of Lagos is changing aggressively as well, especially with just the heavy influx, especially from the southeast. The entirety of the southeast is moving into Lagos, and that changes both the dynamics of the demography of that state and its politics. And they have to factor that into it as well. So they either have to legislate to the exclusion of people migrating into Lagos State. So you have to call it a migration because they are coming from they're still within the same country, but they are coming from their own localized space into Lagos. So they have to mitigate for that either by legislation or by politics or a combination of a mixed bag of all manners of tactics. So now, and you see that in play as well already because Lagos State is getting increasingly more Yoruba indigenous, and I think that's the route that they are going to follow. So that's what what's his name? Fashola is speaking to.
Provoke us to ask, where are our traditional voters? Are they still with us? Are they turning out for us? And why are they not turning out enough? This is a time for honest answers and for honest questions. And I hope those questions will be asked, as I said, after this meeting by people who are resolved, as we must be, to ensure that we turn out voters for the next election. And some of the questions to ask is whether our policies and programs are still resonating with our traditional base. Traditional base. Another question to ask ourselves, even as members, is what is our own party reward system like?
Akọni sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu ẹ, ayé fi mú ẹ sí múnimúni kì í mọ̀ṣá. Akọni sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu ẹ.
So, and also, how do we even network with ourselves? I have asked questions such as, if we wanted to undertake a particular program that involved a certain set of tradesmen or tradeswomen, do we have a register that we can consult to say who are the party members who will be interested in this? Those are questions that I think this conference provokes us to ask, because political party participation is based on enthusiasm. If people are enthusiastic, they will turn out and they will vote.
You can substitute that word enthusiasm with money. So there's nothing that enthuses more than money, and it's already telling them we have to bribe them more, is essentially what it's saying there.
Vote. So, but hope is not lost, because we are in a season of renewed hope, and therefore we will turn our renewed hope into renewed enthusiasm for our party and for our programs. Of course, some of the speakers before me have alluded to the growing demography of young people. Now, how many of our children are involved in what we are doing? How many of our children come to our rallies and our campaigns? If it is important to us, we must make it important to them. And we must find a way to connect them to it. Because really and truly, who would we be handing it over to, if not to them? And a good place to start is to ask ourselves, in APC-controlled states and state institutions, educational institutions, where are the APC youth wings? How are we connecting and getting people?
You know, you have to read between the lines of what Fashola is saying there. So he's saying in APC control spaces, they should organize more that sort of a youth narrative, and it's going to the tertiary institutions. So what he's saying essentially is pump money into the schools in the APC space and grow an organic base of our APC leaning people there to guarantee a continuous conveyor belt of people that are aligned with their political leanings.
Because APC can be like any other club in a university that you can join. And so these, for me, I think are the questions that we need to ask and we need to answer very, very honestly.
All right, so there it is right there. So that's Sanwo-Olu essentially telling them that they have to bribe them all. So bribe them all. Reps pass bill on budgetary allocation structure for infrastructure, human capital development, and debt. So this is something that is long overdue. So they want to stratify, if there's such a word, to break it up into stratas. The how budgets are being allocated, so you know what goes where. Reps pass bill on budgetary allocation structure for infrastructure, human capital development, and debt. The House of Representatives on Tuesday passed through second reading a bill seeking to ensure timely presentation of annual budget estimates by the executive to the legislature, with a view to enhancing fiscal transparency and timely submission of audited financial statements. The bill also seeks to prescribe ratios for various budgetary heads for public expenditure and provide for medium and long-term planning for infrastructure and human capital development at both the federal and state levels and for related matters. So we have to be clear on what's being said here. So historically, traditionally, the executive usually just presents a vague budget to their houses, either the Senate House of Reps or the House of Assemblies at the state level. So they just present this vague. You read some of the budget sometimes, and you are none the wiser exactly what the budget is seeking to achieve or execute. But what this bill is now seeking to do is to break the budget into stratas and say, okay, we have £100 as the budget for this year. We have £100, and out of that £100, £30 goes towards infrastructure, £30 goes towards human capital development, £30 goes towards the health services, and then the remaining £10 then goes towards what auxiliary cost incidentals and whatnot. So to have percentages of budgets allocated to specific areas of execution. The House of Representatives on Tuesday passed through second reading a bill seeking to ensure timely presentation of annual budget estimates by the executive to the legislature with a view to enhancing fiscal transparency and timely submission of audited financial statements. The bill also seeks to prescribe ratios for various budgetary heads for public expenditure and provide for medium and long-term planning for infrastructure and human capital development at both the federal and state levels and for related matters. The private member bill was sponsored by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, and 4 others. Advocated for budgetary allocations of not less than 30%, not less than 30% for infrastructure, not less than 20% for human capital development, not less than 15% for personnel cost, not less than 10% for administrative overheads, and not less than 25% for debt obligations, respectively. Leading debate on the general principle of the proposed bill. I think we get the thrust of that. So that's where they're going with that. So I think I endorse that. Dangote reassures Nigerians of fuel supply amidst market confusion and rising prices. So that's the lot. I did say to you there wasn't an abundance in the news cycle. Let me send the link to the studio again to the comment section. If anybody wants to come in, then you can do that. So that's the link to the studio in the comment section. If anybody wants to come in, come in. So now we go through the clips that we do have. If anybody does decide to come in, you might want to come in with a topic that you'd like to discuss. So now this next clip. We're going to get to the Natasha storyline in a moment, but this first clip now is all about that narrative of defections, and this is what the APC has to say about that.
On the last note, some people are trying to gaslight our party, saying that we are moving towards one party state in Nigeria. At the same time, they said they want to chase our leader out of the Asofila. This is mutually contradictory. We should not allow anybody to gaslight us. Let it be that all the 109 persons in the Senate are members of the APC. 360 should be APC. All the state of assembly should be APC. It is part of democracy. We must continue to mobilize, conscientize, sensitize, and ensure that the APC is the bulwark for electoral victory in all elections. Thank you and God bless you.
Gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ sí ọ̀rọ̀, gbogbo kọ̀rọ̀ sí kọ̀rọ̀. Gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ sí ọ̀rọ̀, gbogbo kọ̀rọ̀ sí.
So there is that right there. So let them eat cake. Essentially, what that tells them. I'm not quite sure what obliges the APC to grow the opposition party. It is up to it is the job of the APC to decimate the oppositions, and it is the job of the opposition to seek to destroy the APC. It's kill or be killed. Now that's how politics works. The APC wants to clear all of them out of the way so that they can rule in perpetuity, and they want to clear the APC out of the way so that they can take rulership of Nigeria. So all this narrative is just the silliest thing. Somebody else defects, and Peter Obi will go on Twitter that they are turning Nigeria into a one-party state. Okay, you sit there now. You sit there and watch them do it. You sit there and watch them do it or do something about it. So this now next clip that I'm about to play you now, I endorse a lot of what the guy has to say. So he's speaking to the protest that happened yesterday, and he's also speaking to the southeastern, to the southeasterner, and is inviting them then how to really play the politics. So I'll leave it as vague as that, and let the clip explain it in full.
Before the protest, I was one of those who said, look, let those who, Southeasterners keep away. And the reason why I said that was that when Showore started calling names of Peter Obi, trying to rub him in the mud, and I said to somebody, jokingly, I said, if Peter Obi shows there, they will either kill him or arrest him. And the next thing is that they will charge him for treason. So for me, the protest did not achieve what it was meant to achieve. But one thing I like the protest for is that we have moved it from the southeast to the seat of power. And that's what I've always told the people in the southeast. Those who declare sit at home, I say, you cannot declare sit at home in the southeast and you expect it to affect the federal government. Declare it in the, come to the Abuja and declare. Or you say that all Igbos who are trading in Nigeria, everybody, don't open your shops. Then it will affect the government. So what they were doing in the southeast was actually killing the southeast rather than protecting and elevating the south.
But do you think that that particular call on Monday will ever hold water, given the fact that the ED of the Lagos Trade Fair, say something yesterday that Igbos, who happens to be the majority persons trading in that trade fair, should try their best not to be part of the protest? Talking about the fragility of the trade fair and its complex at this point.
Well, if you look at it from that point, everybody's protecting themselves. But I am telling you, that's why we have a problem in Ebola. First problem we have is that, what is it? The Igbos have no leader. And unfortunately, the people you see today parading themselves as leaders are not leaders. These are psychophants. And that is where the problem of the Igbo man starts. The Igbos have no person who is speaking for them. The things that are happening in Igbo land cannot happen in the north. You see where the bandits sit down with government officials negotiating. Can it happen? Can you see IPOB sitting down in the southeast negotiating? It will not happen. Because you have a country that you're running two laws. One law is for the south, one law is for the north. And we must be very honest with ourselves when we say these things. The unity that these people keep talking about is not applicable in the southeast. It's not applicable. Even though some of us will try not to bring tribe and all sentiment into it, but it's getting to the point where we must begin to tell ourselves that for us to have a Nigeria that works, we must have the same law.
All right. All right. So I agree with a lot of what that guy says, but so what is essentially invited is that this sit at home, it should really take place where it will have the most impact. If they are trying to use the sit at home to force the hand of the government, then it will have no impact. It's not had any impact in the southeast. The only impact that the sit at home has had in the southeast is just to damage economic activities in that space, and the government largely ignores it. They even ignore the savagery going on in the southeast because they don't really care about the south. There's no government in Nigeria that have never ever really cared. Even when Goodluck Jonathan, who's somewhat of a southeastern president, was in charge, he never cared about the southeast. There's no single government in Nigeria's history that has ever cared about the Southeast. So if they're doing their sit at home in the Southeast, it impacts on nobody. If they savage and ravage themselves, nobody cares. But if they do their sit at homes in other impactful regions like Lagos, Port Harcourt, or Abuja, then it will have more impact. But the problem is if that will test that sit at home because they will not be able to enforce it in the way they are able to enforce it in their region. Nobody can force anybody to sit at home in Lagos and you'll be carrying guns up and down. That will be the end of you. They will put you in the ground immediately. So they cannot enforce it. So they have to voluntarily do it. Who will go to Alaba market and force the traders there to sit at home? So it'd be impossible. So that would test the popularity of that narrative. And if the people if the let's use Lagos as a test case. If the Southeasterners start to do sit at home on Mondays with their businesses, it wouldn't be long before the state government starts to move them out. You know, so if you are not trading in Alaba market, then you have no reason to be there because you have to remember that every space that is occupied even in the entirety of Nigeria is occupied on lease. Nobody has ownership of anything in Nigeria. So that's why people laugh somewhat when all these rascals tell us that they bought up Lagos and they own Lagos. Nobody owns anything. Everything in Nigeria belongs to the state. And whatever ownership you feel you have over anything is really just a 99-year lease, which is renewable and also revocable. So forget all of this. We own this and we own that. The sit at home, the only way it will have impact is if it was taking place in Lagos or Abuja, and they cannot do it in Lagos or Abuja because the atmosphere there is not conducive for it, and they cannot enforce it. So that's that. So that's that. Let's go on from that to the next one. Okay, let me just play you this one. This is a carryover from yesterday. All these religious people that they always place everything in the hands of God. This one now, it decided to take direct action. This is some rather funky looking pastor at the Shore protest. I think a lot of you would have seen this anyway, but let's just play it just for the laughs and giggles, as they say, or for shits and giggles. That's what they say, isn't it?
They are shooting. They are shooting. They are shooting.
All right, so that's the pastor taking to his heels. So now we come to the last piece, which is the Natasha Akpoti piece. So now this Natasha Akpoti now, she's that very much turning into a nuisance within the Nigerian space. She doesn't seem to have taken any lessons from the 6-month suspension that Akpabio gave her, and just as soon as she comes back, she goes back to her old antics. She clearly doesn't know how the parliament works, but not knowing is not a crime, but being unwilling to learn is a crime. Because she's a new senator, and by the way, Osho Omole, who goes on to confront her in this clip, is a new senator too, but he made this his business to know how that space works. But Natasha knows nothing about anything. She just wants to resonate. Is it very much like, Natasha and Omoyele Sowore, they are peas from the same pod. Essentially, they are two sides of the same coin. They would do and say anything and go to the furthest of extremes just for attention and publicity. So here she is stunting again, but then again being exposed for her ignorance. And then off the back of this, you see her now traversing all the media spaces now, trying to say she's fighting the women's cause, but she doesn't understand anything about what is going on around her. She thinks she's just there to look pretty, and here is Osho Omole completely humiliating Natasha Akpoti yet again.
Those again saying the eyes have it. Mr. Senate President, please may I speak? I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been.
So the first thing is she says, "Oh, I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women." She's not there as a woman advocate, or she's there as the senator representing whatever constituency in Kogi State. But then she's taken on that moniker. She wants to attempt to take on that. We have Riti Kingibwe there. She's also a woman, but she doesn't constitute a nuisance to the House because she knows how the rules work. But this one here, anything to stunt, she will immediately leap on it.
Those again say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please may I speak? I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been.
And by the way, who told her that abortion has to do with women? Abortion has nothing to do with women. Women are just the vessel that carries the fetus, but the seeding of it is the man. So abortion is very much a narrative of two parties. A man can sue you if you abort his child. As you know, you're just a vehicle for that child. So what does that even mean that abortion has to do with women? Just the illiteracy of that statement alone, enough to rankle.
Those again say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please may I speak? I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator. Distinguished senator.
You know what really irritates people about this, Natasha, is we know she knows nothing, but she will continue to agitate the space only really for the cameras to focus on her. Do you remember her whole fight with Akpabio was because she was asked to move seats and she was saying she'd be too far away from the camera? That was the whole genesis and the whole central reason for that epic fight she had with Akpabio. All entirely because they told her to move seats, and she feels that the cameras would not be able to pick her up. She said to herself, and here she is again, just jostling for the cameras. She didn't even know anything about what was being discussed, so she just wanted the focus to be on her, and she wants to leverage then her fight with Akpabio to bully him into acting out of sequence with the rules of the House.
Those again say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please may I speak? I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator. This has been stepped down in view of the conviction, but if you have anything to add, you can say.
Thank you very much, sir.
So that is Akpabio bending the rules for her right there. And ordinarily, Akpabio would not bend that rule, but she has cornered Akpabio with all of that public nuisance thing that she did for 8-9 months. So she has cornered him to the point that it's easier for him to surrender to her than to try to enforce the rule. But you see the House very, very, very quickly stand up and call even him to order.
Those again say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please may I speak? I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator.
You notice that he says this has been stepped down in totality, which is in reference to how the House works. Because once the gavel hits the whatever, once the gavel gets banged, that ends that matter right there, unless, of course, it's reintroduced in another phase. But then, of course, Natasha doesn't know that, as she knows very little about the workings of the parliament.
Those again say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please may I speak? I'm a woman and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been.
So what is that arrogance rooted in, that she feels that what she has to say is very important? No, it's not up to you to, and a lot of people do that, by the way, which really rankles. You say, oh, it's not up to you to determine the importance of whatever nonsense you have to say. It is the audience that will determine if what you have to say is important or not, because the audience operates at their own frequency level of capacity. So if you are in a high functioning space, then what you have to say might well be pedestrian to that space, even though it's important in whichever other space that you are coming from. So it is not up to her to determine that what she has to say is important, just the arrogance of that statement.
Those again saying the eyes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please, may I speak? I'm a woman, and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator.
You see, he said this has been stepped down in totality, and that should end it right there. But he could see that she was building up to a fight, and very, very quickly he yields and then lets her speak, which he shouldn't have.
Those again saying the eyes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please, may I speak? I'm a woman, and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator. This has been stepped down in view of the conviction, but if you have anything to add, you can say.
Thank you very much, sir. Senator Natasha Akpoti, Kogi Central. Sir, this borders on abortion. And
yeah.
Do you remember the last time she stood up and spoke at the parliament, and she was advocating then, she was proposing that the Nigerian prison service should go and liaise with the Libyan government in relation to Nigerian women being held in Libyan custody. Do you remember that? I can go and find you the clip, that the prison service should go and liaise with the Libyan government with regards to the Nigerian girls being held in Libyan custody. Even I know it's just rank stupidity, isn't it? In what frequency does the Nigerian prison service get to interact with the sovereign country? What do we have a Ministry of External Affairs for, or what do we even have a government for? She has no concept of anything going on around her. She just wants to go there and do the final flushes of a once upon a time fine girl, because I think she'll be around about 50 by now. So that phase has gone for her, and she's clinging on to days gone by.
Those again saying the eyes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please, may I speak? I'm a woman, and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator. This has been stepped down in view of the conviction, but if you have anything to add, you can say.
Thank you very much, sir. Senator Natasha Akpoti, Kogi Central. Sir, this borders on abortion. And
yes, Senator. Your mic.
Mr. President, we have been tutored over and over.
All right. So now, from this now phase, Osho Mole Adams, he's going to totally decimate her. He's going to destroy her completely, much to the delight of everybody. So if you want to go and pour yourself a glass of wine, you can do that now, because you're going to thoroughly enjoy this. And by the way, Adams Osho Mole's response is to signal to her then that the whole house, they are now getting fed up. They are now totally fed up with her antics. She cannot continue to become a disruptive influence within that house. It's essentially what Adams Oshiomhole is saying to her. But I don't think she has the brain functions to pick up what's being signaled. Because Adams Oshiomhole, he doesn't really care either way. Adams Oshiomhole actually feels that he should be the Senate president because he's equipped enough. It was a highly successful, high-profile governor of one of the more preeminent states in Nigeria, and then he went on to be the chairman of the ruling party, the most powerful party in the country. So he could easily be the Senate president. So he has no truck with Akpabio. He doesn't really care either way, and he doesn't really like or detest Natasha Akpoti. But what he's saying there is that, look, madam, just settle, pipe down and chill out and stop all of this rebel rousing and clout chasing and content creating in the red chambers. That's what he's signaling to her. But I don't think Natasha Akpoti has the function to understand that. So make sure you've poured yourself a glass of wine or something, or a brandy like I've got right next to me, as you enjoy Adams Oshiomhole completely decimate the Ukrainian woman.
Those again saying the eyes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please, may I speak? I'm a woman, and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator, distinguished senator. This has been stepped down in view of the conviction, but if you have anything to add, you can say.
Thank you very much, sir. Senator Natasha Akpoti, Kogi Central. Sir, this borders on abortion. And
yes, Senator, your mic.
Mr. President, we have been tutored over and over that when a matter has been concluded,
apologies, that's the last time I'm going to stop it. The next time I play it, I'll let it play all the way through. But I just wanted to highlight what Adams Oshiomhole said there. He said, Mr. President, which is the President of the Senate, he says, Mr. President, we have been tutored over and over again, which is to say that this woman, if you don't understand that to mean calling Natasha Akpoti an idiot or a dummy, then I can't help you, because it's all embedded in the language. He said we have been tutored. He didn't say we have been tutored, though. He said we have been tutored over and over again about these things. So, and the person, of course, raising something that they've been tutored over and over again is the Ukrainian cum Nigerian Natasha Akpoti. So if they have been tutored over and over again, then it's showing an irritation as to our continuous lack of understanding of the rules and the guiding principles of how that chamber works. So that is to signal to her then that you are just too dumb. Just stay quiet and try and look pretty if you can. That's just your purpose there.
Those again saying the eyes have it.
Mr. Senate President, please, may I speak? I'm a woman, and abortion has to do with women. It's very important, sir.
Let us go to clause. This has been stepped down in totality. Yes, you distinguished senator, This has been stepped down in view of the conviction, but if you have anything to add, you can say.
Thank you very much, sir. Senator Natasha Akpoti, Kogi Central. Sir, this borders on abortion. And
yes, Senator, your mic.
Mr. President, we have been tutored over and over that when a matter has been concluded and you have dropped the gavel, in this particular case, to allow for more conversation, if you grant exemption to distinguish it to Natasha, then you must extend the same essential to us, in which case our rules will become meaningless. I think the rules should be obeyed. We have said more discussion, which allow her to make any input, and I also intend to make more input. I think that is the whole essence of deferring it. To continue the debate, many of us will rather debate it here. So I think my distinguished sister should agree that these are the rules. And those rules have to be followed. If you begin to exercise discretion of granting exemption here, you have to grant exemption there, and here we shall have no rules. Okay, I think the rules should be fair, and they should be applied the way you have done, even when I try to...
Distinguished Senator Adamo-Shumole, I must add that I'm not a spirit to know what the senator wanted to say. The senator said, I want to say something. But if I knew, I would have referred her to Rule 52, sub 6. Rule 52, sub 6 says, it shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the Senate has come to a conclusion during the current session, except upon a substantive motion for rescission. So since the Senate has come to a conclusion and has stepped down this, it shall be out of order. So I ruled Senator Natasha out of order.
And there it is right there. They complete the decimation of Natasha Akpoti. I can bet you £1 to a penny. £1 to a penny. I can bet you £1 to a penny that Natasha Akpoti, as soon as she leaves that chambers, she will run around all the studio, all the television studios, and all the portals, all the usual watering holes. She will run down all of those spaces and tell everybody then how her voice is being gagged in that space, and how, because she's a woman, they're not letting her advocate for the right of women, and because they are men, they are misogynist, and they don't understand about abortion, etc., etc., and not any concept that there are rules guiding that space, because to her, the rules are just incidental. They're just an inconvenience to be disregarded at will whenever she needs focus and attention. So she will now run round telling us that her voice is being stifled because she rejected the advances of Akpabio. That is exactly what she will do. You know it, I know it, because we know her form. So that is she's now becoming a laughing. Well, she's always has been a laughing stock, but she's now becoming a wider irritant to the wider Senate, because you have to understand that the Senate will always lean towards their leader. So the leader wields a lot of power in the Senate, and I think Akpabio also, because of his genial, convivial sort of a nature, he also commands a lot of affection amongst his colleagues. So the backlash against Natasha, it will come from she will be ostracized from that space. You know, she'll be ostracized, and we are already seeing that taking shape in just now this slap down by Adams Oshiomhole. But that's what we've got. That's the fullness of it. So if you want to come in. I'll play the Kegite music. We take it from there. Kegite.
Only water, where they see my water. Hapa you don't come oh. Hapa oh night oh. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé ṣọ́dí àkẹ́kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù ré o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù ré o. Chifu Faila ti kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù ré o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹyẹ o ó dìle o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹyẹ o ó dìle o. ẹyẹ rẹ̀ ó dìde o. ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹyẹ. ẹlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọ̀run mú ìní o. ìgbàlà tí èlé. àkùkọ ọ̀run méjìkọ. ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there it is right there. Ikuko Neru Agwesheme, death have nothing to do with us. So joining us, Hassan. So we have a little chat with Hassan, and then we might just call it a day. Hassan Dezua Al-Haji. Dezua, have you even been to Mecca, Hassan?
Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. One man, this one that you are you are doing psychedelics, or is it brandy you are taking? Is it whatever it is you are taking? Are you sure we are going to have a fruitful discussion?
I'm not sure. The whole session is in the lap of the gods. You know. If I show you my cup now, yeah.
I'm
not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. Maybe in the afternoon I might have a drink, but I'm not this time. I'm not sure if this is the first time ever, but I'm not sure. I just poured myself a glass and then I poured myself another one, and here we are.
I hope you are okay. You are not nursing some form of pain, or are you celebrating something?
No. I was adjusting a cupboard, and then I saw it there. I saw the bottle there, and it's been there for maybe for quite a few years. And then I brought it out. I poured one, and then you know how. Well, you probably don't know how it goes because you don't drink. But I just saw it in my cupboard, and I tried to open it. So it wasn't anything more exciting than that. But there it is.
Yeah, I have an Oga, Dr. Uzechuku, Professor Uzechuku, who collect these things, and he keeps keeping them. He has some, but I don't think it's exactly brandy. I think, is it, what do they call it? He keeps them 20, 30, 40 years, and he keeps calling humongous amount of money. And I've been advising him to do charity. At least maybe God would look at him with the eyes of mercy. But this okay. Anyway, it's not my place.
You know, some people actually collect it in the way they collect art. All this vintage brandy and especially vintage wine.
Exactly. You need to see his private collection. He has a very big bar. The bar in itself is in an underground in his house, and it's
it has to be, because you have to store it in a cool. Yes, the storage is probably just as expensive as the wine. But carry on.
Okay. To each his own. I'd rather have my. I have some dambu and fura. You should try chilling with these things. It has the same effect, and you are.
Have you ever tried burukutu? You sound like you've tried burukutu once.
No. I've never tried it. It irritates me, the smell of it. The smell of decaying matter. Some things are not. Some things are not meant to be drinking. Even your nature, like. Have you seen food that is going bad when there's this fungal growth all over it and you see it going rotting? It emits some form of smell that is smell of decomposing matter. What is happening when alcohol is being produced? It's a process of decomposition. So anyway, it's not my place to eat his own. Enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself. I have nothing.
Just one last question on that space. Is burukutu made out of corn or maize or something like that? It's fermented maize.
Everything: grain, corn, millet, sorghum, millet, or everything. It's made out of. It's just a matter of putting it into water and then exposing it outside for some time. So when there is sunlight and water,
fermentation.
Ferment. Yes. So I stayed in Jos. I stayed in Secretariat Link. GRA is just close to Tudunwada. So Jos GRA at Secretariat Link is just like when you cross over from the state secretariat, then you go into this ghetto area where it's you see like pigs roaming the streets. You see Brukutu everywhere. You see all sorts of things. And there was a time that we had one pig enter our compound. So we had this well, and the pig fell into the well, but nobody noticed. After a few days, this awful, awful smell was just everywhere. You couldn't pass by without vomiting. And then we had to trace it, and then we found out that okay, a very fat pig fell into the well, decomposing, and a lot of maggots has just. So our father had to call in, people who brought, these coas, building sand, 3 tippers to just fill up the well, and that was the end of that well entirely. So I have had my own share with Burkut. In fact, in Jos they call it kunu, like they call it water. They give it to infants, like it's nothing for them. But there, people who die with cirrhosis in Plateau State are like a lot of people, liver cirrhosis. Let me not scare you. Oh,
no. You know the French actually give their children wine as well, just as a routine, just like water, maybe with a meal.
Yeah, that was in the dark ages, isn't it?
I think they still do it. Oh, the French, they are not for changing.
Huh. Well, I don't think the French are actually a model for morality, or whatever it is. So these are people who think a 60 a grooming almost 70-year-old woman, groping her student and then ending up marrying him and all that. Anyway, Macron and all that.
According to Candace Owen, she's not even a woman; she's a man. Are you talking about Macron's wife?
Forget about Candace Owen, Dalla. She's just she just wants to be controversial sometimes, even though she sandwiches her stuff with truths and falsehoods. Maybe 20% falsehood, 80% truth.
She's a conspiracy theorist, isn't she? She's a conspiracy.
Yes. Conspiracy sells. Like it gives you views. Like people want to believe absurdities, and but I'm always careful with conspiracy theories because it's a slippery slope. You can lose your mind when you go down that route. It is what it is. Forget about these Americans. They do not hold they do not hold that spot of being like the leaders of what is civilized and what is morally right and all that. They have already lost it. Their default way of dealing with the world is to dominate and to and to dictate and to see themselves as somehow superior, especially their elites. And electing Trump and a lot of Africans who lick his ass are a disgrace. I have seen a lot of them who, because of their affiliation to Christianity, think somehow Trump is the next coming of Jesus.
Asan, quite curiously, Trump seems to be popular amongst Nigerians. During that phase, you remember all the Nigerian Americans, they were all just like Jewel of Nashville, Larry, all of these people. Even I think Babati is a Trump guy. All the Nigerian Americans, they're all Trump.
Don't call their name. You are going to tie my hands now, and I will not be able to express myself. They are good people to me. But my opinion is my opinion anyway. And I will not sugarcoat it. When I see a black person, a Nigerian or somebody like that, subscribe to Trump's worldview, I think that person is at his core self-hating. She despises his people. She despises his originality. And the very fact that Trump is openly racist, thinks of blacks as subhuman, calls our countries shitholes and all that. Even if you agree that we are shitholes, why are we shitholes in the first place? Why do you discard our history of colonialism and what we have happened to gone through all this while and begin to think that somehow because you live in America and speak you think you are somehow better than all of us? Man, you can shove it down where the sun does not shine, you and your Trump. That yellow ginger coward that is just pushing the world to the brink. I do not respect Trump. I do not respect what he stands for. I think he is a disgrace the way he has led the United States and the way he is pushing the world closer to and closer to Armageddon. And he is a megalomaniacal person, a vindictive, bloodthirsty. He's an ethnocentric, a misogynist. Let me just leave it at that. What have we got to discuss today, man? Let's discuss.
Sorry. Before we go to, I know you want to speak to the Mind Rangers, but before we get to that, just do you think the Trump narrative is a backlash against the woke culture? Because there's a lot of anti, the direction the world is going in the Trump. I don't think people, especially voted for Trump, they were voting against a particular direction of global affairs. That woke culture. Do you think it's somewhat a backlash against the woke, the Trump's election?
One man, when people claim to be educated, right? When people claim to be sophisticated, right? I measure their sophistication by their ability to look at trends, the history of people, because they say history is a kind of a mirror that actually reflects not just today, it also projects tomorrow, and is directly fueled by yesterday. Now, for somebody like Trump to successfully scam you, unfortunately, this is somebody who has had a history of consistent Islamophobia, black. He hates black racism. If you ask him, I have a black friend. You know the way Americans justify their racism. Look at this. Look at my black friend. He's my black friend. That kind of thing. Well, I think majority of people who support Trump do it because of their affiliation to Christianity. But the problem is that Trump is not even Christian. Trump is not Christian. Trump is a smart, what do I call it? A fraudster, a cold calculating, opportunist who, manipulates people's emotions for his own gain. He understood that the core Christian evangelicals, needed red meat, and then he had to give them that red meat in, the kind of way he speaks, in which he denigrates brown people, immigrants, black people, and all that. And then he is now putting himself like he's some sort of Christian. Do you remember when someone asked him to put his favorite Bible verse or passage, and Trump was out of he was out of his depth. He doesn't even know anything about Christianity. Oh my God. And he's somebody who is very vengeful, somebody who is in the long run only wants to get rich out of the American people. He does not respect the rule of law. So when people like our friends who reside in America and speak through their nose, come and tell us about Nigeria and think somehow because they are in America, they want us to copy their models and keep giving us those IMF, World Bank nonsense figures and thinking that somehow is the standard, and then expecting us to adopt the principles of this cutthroat capitalism. I look at them and just shake my head, because sometimes I don't even want to engage them in the argument, because I believe there is some shallowness in the way they understand and they underestimate their own people. We are not Teutonic Anglo-Saxons. We have to do what is best for us. Anyway, so for Trump, I don't care about him. For all I care, he can He can. He
You know, Trump reminds me of Peter Obi somewhat vaguely. With both of them, you can see the constraint of their capacity. You can see that they're not especially intelligent people, but their biggest trick is some sort of vague ambiguity, and then they become like special purpose vehicles for people to spark their own agenda into. So you see so many agendas packed into Peter Obi, and you also see so many agendas packed into Trump. Like you said, it doesn't even. I doubt if he has ever, um, apart from by requirement of law, ever opened the Bible in his. It could. It doesn't know the single thing about the Bible. It doesn't live a Christian life. But then the whole of the Bible Belt, they see him as some sort of one of the So a lot of people just and then the far right see him. It's not especially far right, by the way. It's just some old school racist, but not an extreme. But the far right, they see that and then the misogynist, the way he treats women, they see that because they see to them that is what a real man represents. So many pockets of special interest pack themselves into the ambiguity of Trump, and you see a lot of that ambiguity in the Peter Obi narrative as well. Peter Obi stands for nothing and falls for everything. Ditto Trump.
Yes, one man. I was cut off a bit, but my alarm was going off. I don't know whether you heard it. I hope you are hearing me now.
No, we're hearing you now, but no, we didn't hear the alarm go off. I hope everything is safe.
No, everything is safe. I was just managing my time so that I can get a little bit of sleep
your
before
phone
it is.
alarm. Okay. All right. All right. Carry on.
Yeah,
Floor
my
is
phone
yours.
alarm.
Yeah.
All right. Where was I anyway? I was talking about Charlie Kirk. People in the American rights. People who think that they are somehow superior. Oh my God, I can't wait to see the next 5, 10 years. I want to see what people who glorify the United States will think when eventually China, overtakes them and all that. But knowing the West, they are arming up. They want to go to war. There's a very good possibility that we may be looking at a third world war in the next couple of years. That is very, very real. It's just a few seconds to midnight as we speak right now. But it is what it is. Sometimes I sit down and I talk to a little to some people in my family.
I think you may be misreading that. I think China is too powerful for the United States to go to war against. It's not that the United States cannot destroy them, but the destruction on both sides, because China is also able to deploy. So the destruction on both sides will essentially mean almost a near destruction of the world. I think they're going to try and sabotage the economy. That's the only route that America can, and they've done that successfully so many times. So they try and undermine their currency, sabotage the economy, or that. Yeah.
They are out of their wits right now. Wama, are you following what is happening closely at all? America is out of their wits. They have been overtaken in almost every. The only thing that China relies on the United States right now is methane. Uh, Methane, and that is just some unimportant chemical. They used to rely on them on helium-3. Now China controls over 98% of rare earth, from mining, processing, everything. America cannot even produce its own missiles, arms, jet fighters, everything without China. China cannot be ignored anyway. Now, I'm not saying that China is some sort of good people, benevolent and all that. I am saying that as far as our relationship with the West have gone here in Nigeria, and what China has got to offer us, man, it's just simple for us to just pivot towards China. These Westerners has brought nothing to us than destruction, and colonialism and all that. And their hands are everywhere.
Sorry, Hassan. Hassan, I think Prince Daddy wanted to come into that space. Just let him interject a little bit. Prince, you wanted to come in.
Oh, okay.
Prince.
No, let him continue his anti-American rant. I'll come in later. Let him continue.
All right, carry on. I knew somebody like Prince Daddy will come in as soon as we started slamming Trump. Yeah.
Yes, and that was why I said you should not call them by name. You see, calling him by name now, he has to respond. I had wanted it to just for me to just write, because there are hundreds of thousands of Prince Daddies. So even though Prince Daddy is somebody I respect as a brother and all that, I do not want to engage it and look like I'm attacking him. I'm just talking about the whole phenomenon generally, okay? And we do not have to narrow it to Prince Daddy for it to, so that it will not be like I have some form of angst against him. No, I do not actually. I know a lot of people fall into that category.
Yes, Hassan. Prince Daddy is the quintessential that space. That conservative Bible Belt, stars and stripes mindset. So Prince Daddy falls very much within that demography. So I don't think you are speaking, and I don't think he thinks you're speaking to him personally. I think he thinks you're speaking to that space which he comes out of, because very much deeply into religion, very much deeply into country, very much one of those American first sort of outlook. So that's yeah.
Yes.
American first.
Yes,
They just come up with ridiculous something. Do you know they play this silly little game in America only within the four walls of their country, and they call it a World Series. They're just a ridiculous brunch from top to bottom.
You know what I look at America like? Notice when some of them come on this platform, and their whole approach to life is they don't take much meaning out of life, out of entrepreneurship, making money. They tend to reduce the value of everything and compress it into some form of monetary. There are some things in life that do not have monetary value. They are so much more than that. I'll give you an example. You see, when we begin to talk about economic theories, and they throw in words like communism, socialism, blah 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 blah. I just sit down and I just shake my head. Like the institutions that the post Second World War order, like that the United States and set up and then used its dollar as the reserve currency. Those institutions, well, after the Second World War, the Americans and the West promised us that never again that the world will witness a period of peace and prosperity and all that. Yeah, they held on to that belief for some while, but the moment the Cold War began, they reverted into their DNA. Let me just whisper this. Those people have Neanderthal DNA. So, and Neanderthals have been known to be very, very brutish and violent. Me and you, one man, we do not have Neanderthal DNA. That is why we are more compassionate. Neanderthals are actually flesh eaters.
Let me engage you guys. You guys are funny. Hassan is funny.
Please, Daddy, please let me finish. Please, Daddy, please let me finish. You come in, please. And I just want to maintain my originality. Put me on anywhere on God's green earth, I will represent my origin, and I will not falter to see any culture as superior than my own. Even as I practice Islam.
Sorry, Hassan. Just so we break it up a little bit. What you are essentially saying? You're saying you are not. You don't see any culture as superior to your own. But what you actually inferred in your statement by essentially saying that the Onyibo people are subhuman, because if you say that they are hold on, just hold on. You just said you said they are an admix of Neanderthals, and that the black people is a purer breed. So that is to that is to subordinate them to yourselves to yourself.
No.
So of course
That
now
is an
when you say
established scientific fact.
yes, but is the Neanderthal is the Neanderthal not subordinate to the human being?
No, they just the Europeans actually killed them off as they just massacre. You know, it is in them to kill everything.
No. We don't want to go through that history. But the Neanderthal, what's our what are we called again? Homo sapiens. Are the Neanderthals, because the Neanderthals they are known to be large of body but low of weight. You know that's their.
No, that is not true. Recent evidence have suggested that
they are not as intelligent as Homo sapiens.
No. They are, recent evidence has suggested that they did music, they did art, they have language, you know, and they have a lot of the thing that wiped them.
They have function, but they are not as intelligent as Homo sapiens.
One man, I advise that you update yourself with recent archaeological findings and interpretations. I will refer you to the Smithsonian and a recent, published, research that was done, I think, in March 2025.
So white people, hold on, Stan. White people are subordinate to black people.
Don't say subordinate. Don't say
hold
subordinate.
on, Hassan. Now, Hassan.
One man that said.
Just hold on. Just open the window for him to come in. Yeah, Prince.
Prince, Daddy, have the floor.
Yeah. I'm just cracking up in the background here. So white people are subordinate to black people because you are from a superior race. That's quite interesting, given that. All the invention, creation, and everything in this world has been created by the white man of a Jewish, perhaps, ancestry. Say, we're not going to even go into conspiracy stuff here.
What did you just say? Everything has been invented by who?
Well, for any modern advancement in today's humanity, has emanated from the white race. Now,
sorry, hold on, Hassan, hold on, just hold on. Let him.
Okay.
If you know
Prince Daddy, you may be wrong. The civilization as we know it came out of the Arabian and the Persian cusp.
Well, man, you can take it back 6,000 years or 10,000 years. That is fine. But I'm not talking about that. It came at a point in time where the economy occurred in this human race. It was quite clear. At one point in time, you can make an argument that we Africans, the white people, and every other race in this world were at par. But they came at the economy in this world history whereby one culture advanced greatly than others. It's quite clear. I don't know what is so debatable about that. There's no debate. We can see with our own eyes and we can trace all these things. So I don't want to go back 10,000 years when Africans were this and that, all this garbage. Forget about that. We're not talking about that. But people like Hassan, they like to, I don't know how to put it, they like to elevate themselves, to be something that they are not, See, me as a person, as a black person, I can accept defeat. When I recognize and see someone or a group of people that are better or even superior than I am, I'm going to acknowledge it. It doesn't bother me. It gives me the opportunity to learn and be better also. But there are certain kind of people, I stand fall into that category, that like to deny things that they see with their own eyes and try to demonize other culture, other people in order to elevate themselves. To me, it's ridiculous. To me, it's
hold on, please. What you're accusing Hassan of, is that not what the people do as well? They propagandize superiority, and they propagate it through the amplification of their capacity to control narrative, and then through time they subordinate the mindset of other people it's not actually factually true that these people. Oh, okay, you are talking about the science advancement, the advancement in 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 all of the soft sciences and the hard sciences and the structure, and you are saying the world as we live in now is essentially it came essentially out of their template, but the wider argument is that the world that we live in now is an amalgamation of so many contributions from cultures. Do you know that? Do you know that in terms of building the sort of houses we live in now, it actually came out of India. Do you know that the word balcony is an Indian word because they were the first to elevate structures on top of another? Do you know that optics that forms the camera that came out of Persia, which is now Iran? So it's the amalgamation. Do you know that the numbers 1 to 9 came out of Iran? The number 0 came out of Afghanistan. You know, so it's an amalgamation of all of these
Surgery,
things. Yeah.
surgery, medicine, the
Is that did
ability
that
to
not
know
come out of
pathogens,
Egypt? That came out
bacteria.
of Egypt.
They are listen. I'm not arguing
All
about
out of
origin.
Islamic
Listen,
scientists.
I'm not arguing about origin of things. Mathematics, yeah, I know. Even computer science is been accredited to the maybe the Arabs. The algorithm. Okay,
Yeah,
I understand all these things. Okay,
yeah,
I don't want to go to history.
algorithmic.
I don't want to go to those damn history. Okay, it's just okay. If that was the case, then what is how come? See, to me, sometimes it's not about who started it. It's about who is able to use that gumption, okay, and the resources to make themselves better. Okay, if you're saying that one man, that we Negroes, we black people, we have opportunity also to be as good or better than the white people. How come we're not doing it? Who's stopping us?
Hey, let me stop you that right
No,
there.
no,
How much of
hold on,
history do you
Hassan,
know?
hold on,
Yeah.
hold
Oh
on.
my God.
No, just
So
hold on,
much.
Hassan. No, no, hold on, Hassan. It depends on the metric that you're using to measure, Prince Daddy. If you are measuring the world according to the westernized metric of measure in terms
Okay,
of
let's not talk too much. Let's not talk too much grammar one now. Okay, you tell me your metric and tell me your standard. Let me listen to your development. Let me listen to you.
Okay. In terms of humanity, the black race is a lot more advanced in terms of empathy, in terms of community, in terms of cohesion, in terms of even in physiology, and even in an understanding of the environment and the intermarriage and codependency between people and environment. All of these spaces, the black race is more advanced. But if you are talking
Okay,
about in
so
terms of
you
going to the
mentioned all those
because
things you
hold
can't
on,
really quantify.
you are measuring it by going to the moon, which is a westernized metric of
And
measure.
I'm calling that and everything you mentioned, I'm calling a BS on that. All this that you mentioned, that you think we are better at, I don't think so. You can't quantify. It's not just say we have empathy, we have a community of families. No, no. Other cultures they have them too. We're not superior. And see, that's the only thing a black race like to fall back on. We have culture. We have the no. You don't have. Trust me. You don't have it any better than other cultures. You do not. See,
You see what?
you
You see
quickly
one
go
man.
towards areas where you can quantify, but when it comes to like the hard sciences, things you can empirical present to the rest of the world, and they can substantiate or diminish it. We have nothing to offer. And you want to talk about culture? Our culture is not necessarily better than the Jewish culture or the Arab culture or the Chinese man's culture. We all have our own cultural nuances. So don't claim that security does not exist. It's a fallacy. It's a fantasy at the same time.
All right. And can I respond?
Right.
All right. Okay. Look at it this way, one man. So let's to ignore history is to ignore reality and to fall into this narrow understanding and then look down upon yourself and your heritage. But let me just say this. Do you know the first university where it was established, the scientific method? How did it come to be? And let me just bring it even back to Africa that you like to denigrate so much. Do you know Mansa Musa and the universities he established in Timbuktu? Do you know the amount of knowledge that he did spread all over that that area of the world.
Nah,
And
yeah,
how
yeah. I mean, those are backward stuff. They mean nothing. Listen, the documentary
don't
that you
interrupt.
watch and things that you
Oh
read,
my
also,
God.
I'm attuned to it. There's nothing to those things. I mean, those are still good. Those are still
You
good
are doing
historical
selective.
records.
No, you are doing selective. You are doing just selective. You are using selective points to justify your worldview. And let me just lay out the history
Man,
for you so that
Samusa, that's a joke.
you can
That's a joke.
yeah. You know what is a joke? The joke is that right from the 15th century, where the Portuguese started going places to places, then followed by the Spaniard, then followed by the British, then and then America inherited that. Now these people who come from this temperate, icy, barren region of the world, who have been barbarians, who actually spit and shit on their streets, and wash their faces from murky, dirty waters, and have faced the plague several times over in the last couple of centuries before enlightenment came to them. Okay, now because they are fundamentally destructive. Before these Westerners, actually ventured out and started colonialism, taking people's land and and claiming it as their colonies and subjugating natives. What they have been doing is fighting each other for centuries. Just go back 200-300 years ago. The French are fighting the British are fighting the Scottish.
And
the Scottish
what were
fighting
the Africans doing?
Stop this! Stop! I have a such a
What
way
were
that
the
I
Africans
talk.
doing?
Kind of long wind. I did not interrupt you. Please, can you just keep quiet for a minute? Give me 3 minutes to land my point, then you can come in. Okay. So, one man. Okay, so let me just bring it back, maybe a little bit, just like in the past a century or so. So, okay, the Ottoman Empire, collapsed, I think, in the 1898 or something like that, and the British, actually, the land that used to be under the Ottoman Empire, they distributed it amongst themselves, gave places to different people and all that. And ever since the West emerged as, the ones who, are controlling the world, what happened? We faced an industrial kind of war where 20 million people died in the First World War. 20 million. That is the one that were accounted for. Some historians put the number at around 30 to 30. Industrial-like killing. Now, their moral compass is that of conquest, and they do not see human tragedy as anything, as long as they can get power and wealth, and they can penetrate and occupy people's resources. It doesn't really matter. That points to a moral bankruptcy. So post World War I, they said never again, and then they did the League of Nations. They are the ones that spearheaded. Go back to the even Berlin conference where they did all what they did. Subjugation, killing. Look at what they did in the Congo. Look at what they did in where the Leopold did in Congo and all that. Do you know the people that Leopold killed is like 4 to 5 times more than what Hitler did? But every time in their media, they keep talking about Hitler as if those our brothers that died in the hands of Leopold are not human. Are not human enough. Now, any black man who seem to think that these people are some form of angels, that they shit petals and roses, Hassan,
a lot of it has to do with the globalized curriculum of learning. The globalized. Hold on now. The globalized curriculum of learning paints a particular narrative. There's or the Western curriculum of learning, which really.
Woman, does that not belong to the conqueror? I mean, what you guys are talking about, it's, I mean, before the white man came, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Genghis Khan, the Ottomans, and these other great empires before the white man came in this modern world. Like they did anything differently. I mean, if you have a white man bias or you hate white people, that's fine. You can say that, like a TD as Trump derangement syndrome. If you have that, that is fine. But to spend so much time and energy, to spend so much time and energy trying to demean a successful race does not elevate you. It does not elevate you or your race. See, I don't subscribe to weakness. And by the way, I think you said something earlier. I think you think black people are disabled naturally. You think black people are naturally disabled people. I think you think that. Because I don't think the way you talk, you don't think much of black people as a people that can get things done. I don't think so. You appear to want to be pro-black, but inherently, consequentially, you are denigrating black people or black race. In effect, listen, we should always try to learn. You should always try to learn from other people. Listen, hold on a second. See, the reason why, you know why the Chinese are dominant right now? By the way, I do agree. I do agree that the Chinese are coming up and they are dominating in a lot of ways, and that has to do a lot with the greed of the Western corporate world. If it wasn't for that, China would not be where they are today, and that is fine. The Chinese are doing a wonderful job, and that's why I give it to the Chinese. Unlike the Negroes or the black race, they always complain and whine what they're good at that they're not. Okay, the Chinese don't do that nonsense. They actually came on board. They learn and they try to get better, and that's the only reason why the Chinese are dominated right now. But the black man of the black race want to complain.
No, Hassan, just hold on, Hassan. Prince, I think I think you are leaving out huge chunks and huge situations. So when you're talking about history did not start. The humanity did not start with the white race coming into this preeminence that they were barbarians once upon a time, and as early as about we were more advanced than them at some point in time in terms of human evolution and when Hassan was saying to you, you know that even something as basic as the concept of having a bath was alien and foreign to the westernized culture, to the European culture as early as 200 years ago.
It's amazing. It's amazing that one man. Okay, when you guys read some conspiracy theories online or some backward anachronistic accounts of events,
these are documented.
Even this is shameful that people that don't have the concept of taking a shower of that today are dominating the world. And you still call people so advanced in your culture, you know everything. You're so backward, like almost close to animals.
Hassan, let him. Hold on, let him land this point, and then you can disagree. Otherwise, you have two voices.
Oh my God.
No, see, I don't have any qualms.
It's not even your fault, Prince. Like I was saying, we have a globalized, westernized standard that sets the templates, and we're all products of that environment. So we've been brainwashed and we've been corrupt. You have to make the conscious effort to step out of it in order to say it for what it is. I somewhat agree with you, actually, that to the victor the spoils. So it's a winner takes. It's a bit like the Second World War now. A lot of nuance to that war, but they paint one single narrative, which is the narrative of the victor.
When you talk about all the Second World War, First World War, we talk about modern times. When it comes to the issue of slavery, for example, do you know at one point in time, white people, especially the Eastern Europeans, were slaves to the Arabs. Actually, they were. See, I mean, white men did not start slavery, for example, and there were slaves in many cultures around the world. Let me tell you, when it comes to the Malays of this world, the white man did not invent it at all. See, unlike you people, so damn on the white man, I actually think we are on the same par in a lot of ways. But I do acknowledge when somebody does something good, okay, that benefits society, when somebody tries to improve the society and you've done good, it's incumbent upon me to acknowledge and recognize that. But people like you will refuse to do that and tell me 1,000 years ago, we Africans were great. We were flying in the sky and doing all this garbage that you never can prove. You tell me, well, Africans were advanced more than white people. Okay, fine. I'm not going to debate that. I said it earlier. At one point in time, all cultures perhaps were at the same par. You can say Africans, the black man was advanced. Okay, that is fine. I'm not disputing that or arguing about that. But time has passed, and we have empirical data. We can document the development in science and technology, material science, and all kinds of sciences and mathematics that's documented. That's moving the world ahead. You guys want to talk about some things that happened 500,000 years ago? It's just comical. See, see, this is a black man's problem. Again, that's why I love the white, the Chinese people. They come to the table, they learn. They will steal all your IP, all your intellectual, all your whatever you have to offer. The Chinese man will steal to improve himself. But the black man will sit down there and complain and tell the rest of the world why they were great at one point in time, why they were this and that. But guess what? We have no record to prove that. We have archaeological record that means nothing. That means nothing. We talk about today's world of advancement in technology. Where are you? Where's the black man, the black race in regards to that?
Priest Daddy, let me talk now. How about you? Don't talk enough now. All right.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just add a little bit. You're speaking now, son. But even the mathematics you mentioned, it came out of Iraq. The mathematics came out of Iraq. But carry on.
And astronomy, like astronomy too came out of Baghdad. The fundamentals.
Physics came out of Iran, because optics came out of Iran.
Yes, all that, and even the fundamental. A lot of influential philosophers too, like actually came out of that golden era. Like modern sanitation.
Sorry, do you know all of a good abundance of the Greek philosophers, which is the predication of modern Western, they all went to the East, and that East is Iran, Iraq, Egypt. That's where they took their learning. They're learning from. That's where they took. Even Picasso. If you look at Picasso, it's African work now. So I mean,
Picasso, Michelangelo, Da Vinci all have traces of Greek, in their design. Like you can see traces of that in their design. But let's just keep that aside. Now let me address Prince Daddy in all the things that. So Prince Daddy, it is rich from you, like for somebody like you to accuse people like me, like Africans who believe in our words to be at par with these white people. It is rich from you for somebody who supports Trump, and all because do you subscribe to QAnon? Do you subscribe to all those fringe? There was a certain link in Politico recently where Republicans were saying that they should bring out they should bring back Jim Crow and hang people like Priest Daddy. Anybody is at all. Vivek Ramaswamy was addressing Republicans, and they put him, and they say they don't want a brown person. How can just because you think you are Christian, you think they think you are part of them? My brother, better come back to your phone though. We love you. We want you to be with us. And don't. They are not worth it. They are not worth it. They are people who are primarily concerned with warfare, power, conquest, and all that. They are the exact reason when there was World War I, and they killed themselves at industrial scale. They did World War II again, killed themselves at industrial scale, and then when the Cold War began, then there was some form of check to their power, and they damped it a bit because the Russians had nuclear weapons and all that. But the moment the Soviet Union collapsed, They went into their default and they kept moving and inching eastward, even because even after the Minsk Accord, even after the agreement that NATO will not infringe into all those areas that Russia considered to be important, countries that Russia considered to be important for its own survival, and that they could be a threat to their security. But then NATO keep expanding eastwards anyway, because their default, these people, is to conquer. Now, you say that we are not developed, we are not this, we are not that, and that we have not done anything, we have not achieved anything, and all that. Let me bring your attention to the fact that ever since the West, especially after the World Wars, the Northern Americans, these Oyibo United States, became the superpower. What has befallen us is just catastrophe. It is uncountable the amount of destabilization that the CIA, has caused. They have intentionally, killed any ability for us to progress. They constantly sponsor coup. They constantly sponsor rebellion. They constantly sponsor, they pump us with fake medicines, use our children as guinea pigs, use all sort of nefarious means to ensure that the global south, do not, because they want to keep us subjugated. And look at what France is doing to Francophone Africa. How can you just exclude this and say your people are backward? It is unfortunate, and I cringe that just because you are Christian, you are willing to excuse all that. And I will tell you, there are some churches that if you go, here in America, I swear, if you come out with your life, they go beat your black and blue. You are just here saying things as if America is some sort of heaven where people carry assault rifles and go into kindergarten and finish people. And you want us to believe that somehow these people are better than us. The worst thing that can happen to you where you are in Nigeria is maybe a policeman stop you, and then he collects some few thousands from you if you break the law, or maybe if you go in the wrong side of the and the government or soldiers or something like that, and you meet them, and then maybe they put you to do one frog job or the other, and if you have your way of placating them, then you do not have any problem. But here you are in a country where your president is deploying national guards to states that oppose him, and to quell an imaginary insurrection because people are protesting. You paint this narrative as if you are some paragon of civility, while we can see with our faces the kind of despicable. You have a president who has, like, is it 4 or 5 marriages at the last count, who does things with pornographic superstars, who has no moral compass whatsoever, who says one thing today and says another, who is a divisive figure, who is a racist to the core, just because he says he's a Christian and that he's fighting transgender. You have to understand that Trump does not carry your interest. You can put his photo in your DP all you want. Reality is reality, and it does not care about your feelings. This talk of transgender, blah blah blah, and all that, and pro-life and all that. I don't think you have to sacrifice your identity for you to belong.
Hassan. This transgender, I did say in the opening of this conversation that the Trump vote is an anti-woke vote. I'm not sure that Trump has any strong feelings around that transgender something. It's like a promise and a payoff, isn't it? So he knows that fits into that Bible Belt, that conservative underbelly of the United States. So it just throws them that meat. I don't think he cares. He cares money. That's all he cares about.
Yeah,
Trump. Yeah.
yeah, that's just the reality. Look at the private. The luxurious jumbo jet that was gifted to him recently, and to show you how daft and and shallow that orange clown is. He is even proposing that it should be converted into into Air Force One so that he can continue enjoying the luxury. That is just one aspect of it. Now, if you look at Trump's history, one man, just go online and search what Trump has been up to in the last 30, 40 years of his life. You see him with drag queens, you see him with strippers, you see him with underage ladies in pageants, you see him with all sorts of despicable people, Eric Weinstein, you see him with Epstein,
Epstein.
you see him, yes, you see him doing all sorts of things. So Trump is a New Yorker, and if you're looking for where the liberal idea, no, not liberal is no, it's not liberal. This transgender thing, it is very, very, very entrenched in places like New York, because it's such a democratic and liberal space. Now, he has had to deal with all these people, so he's comfortable. He's an entertainer, somebody who welcomes, who sees money beyond human beings, and that is his modus operandi.
Hassan, there was a time that Trump used to spend most of his time with a cross-dresser called RuPaul. You know, before he went on to that basketballer that used to put his thoughts in his nose, and then Tyson, and then he doesn't care about any of these things.
He doesn't care, and I'm sorry. It's unfortunate that some of our brothers have decided. And let me even ask them this: what has Trump, accomplished with all those things that he promised them? Right now that he is almost a year into his tenure, apart from just arresting legal, what do they call it? Immigrants who have been paying, even some who have green cards. Trump arrests them and humiliates them on the street with this Gestapo ice that covers their face. And now somehow Prince Daddy wants us to believe that this degenerate, anarchic, chaotic United States is somehow something we should look up to. Come on, we are no, we are not brainwashed. We are not brainwashed to that level that would ignore what the facts that we see in our eyes. And Trump has no cojones. Trump is not that leader that he talks about the art of the deal, and he is so much woeful at doing any deal, to the point that there is nothing that he has been successful from. His tariffs has been a disaster. His peace negotiations have been a disaster. Everything just comes back onto his face and mocks him. But he is a shameless man. His goal is to get power through gullible people, evangelicals, and But the thing with religion and faith, one man. I say this often, and a lot of people may not like it, but the very fact that I am also a Muslim and I have faith in my religion, but then in Islam you are encouraged to, while having faith, also use reason. And in the Quran, Allah says most of the time at the end of different verses that have insight, لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ لِقَوْمٍ تَعْمَلُونَ لِقَوْمٍ يَشْكُرُونَ. That means for the people who understand, for the people who are introspective, for the people who are righteous. Now Trump takes the evangelicals and his base as stupid, gullible, unintelligent people who surrender, their freedoms and rights to an emperor-like president, and thinking that he is there for his interest. Trump is there for his money and his billionaire friends, his funders, and all that. Look at Mary Adelson, or whatever the name of that woman that gave him $200 million, the Jewish woman and her husband.
The Jewish lobby, rep.
Yes, and do you see his address in the Knesset? How utterly embarrassing! How utterly embarrassing for somebody like that. And the moment he turned his back, the ceasefire he negotiated. They said they give him a very big middle finger and then continued from where they stopped. So nobody respects Trump, expects his core MAGA base and people who subscribe to QAnon. What is the other conspiracy nonsense too that people like to follow and take as read meat? Trump has conquered the evangelical right. He's on his way to so much fraudulence. Do you know what he did in crypto and how he scammed a lot of people into hundreds of millions of dollars? Do you know what he did? A lot of the gifts he collect, secret deals with Qatar, Kuwait, and all that through Jared Kushner and all that. Trump, Trump just pushes out the real face of America on the globe. But the modus operandi of America, ever since they realized that the Soviet Union was no longer a threat, they have over 800 bases, 800 military bases all over the world. Haba, one man. So what is the implication of this? That is, they are very close to any country that wants to grow and do something good for themselves. It's either they come through regime change or they encourage a rebel faction, arm them. Al Qaeda, Americans like to label Islam. Islam is terror, blah 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 blah. But if you are old enough, pre 2001, one man, there was nothing like this hatred of Muslims across the globe. After September 11th, everything exploded to the point that even in Nigeria, that gave ammunition for our Christian brothers to mock us and tell us a terrorist religion, mock our prophet, do this, do that, do this, do that, and all that can be traced to the United States. And even there, right now, they are having an introspection, and they are beginning to dig deep and look at things deeper, and they are seeing a lot of things that are inconsistent with the narrative that the government put out as of that time, because you cannot compare the amount of information available to the public in 2001 to the one that is available now in 2025. And people are beginning to put one and two together to see that, okay, there are a lot of people who have had prior knowledge to that this thing is going to happen. A lot of structural engineers also have seen that the towers cannot have collapsed under the weight of an airliner crashing.
All right, let's not get into that space because that space triggers YouTube somewhat. But let's get back. Yeah. Let's get back to. Do you want to give us a brief commentary on these Mind Rangers? You were saying in the comment section that you don't especially like the name Mind Ranger.
Yes. Let me get back to that, and I want to parting words to anybody that subscribes, who is African and subscribes because he's Christian, subscribes to Trump and all that. And let me just say this. Okay, please, that debate mention of China, that China grew up and China is now what it is, that Africans are lazy, blah, 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 blah. Do you know that Britain actually did a very ugly travesty on the Chinese people like a century ago? What they did is pump opium to the point that the Chinese were so much inundated with opium that their workforce became useless. Everybody was addicted to opium. And I'm just telling you the nefarious ways of the way these people do that. And they leased Hong Kong for 100 years. But the Chinese, just like Sun Tzu, have a very long-term view of, dealing with their enemies. and the Americans were caught off guard because the Chinese are not like us in Africa. We are just like 50 something million when we got independence. China got independence
Okay, well,
at
you
over
talking about
a billion.
We're familiar with the Opium War. Hold on, but even the
No,
the
hold on,
Japanese.
Hassan. You
Oh
have
my
you have
God.
to be just hold on, Hassan. You have to be opening the window for because you do go on a little bit. So open the window for him to. I think he wants to interrogate something you said.
Now they keep shouting on fentanyl, but what he who blows the trumpet and throws the incense of flowery plants can expect that the bees will inhale the pheromones, and when they come stinging, he shouldn't complain. Okay, well, please, that you go, so that I'll talk about the mind thing.
All right. I think Prince was actually going to go to the Opium War. He's aware of the Opium War, but what Prince is saying to you is that in spite of that, in fact, the Opium War really is a good example of the point that I think he's making. That and also the Europeans were they were colonized, they were enslaved. The Iranians spent centuries as the overlords of Spain for so many. If you the relics of the Iranians is still in Spain even till today. There was a vast period that Spain, which is in the very heartland of Western Europe, was an Iranian colony. So and they were even the words
And the Moors came through also. But nobody's talking about the Japanese hegemony also in Asia. The Japanese also did wonders on the Chinese people. See, I think history is like,
the Iberian Peninsula. No, you are getting it wrong. It's not Iran. It is the Moors and North Africans who actually are part of the
not the Iranians, are they?
I think
they are not.
the Moors,
Not the
the Moors
Iranians.
came through, but maybe the Persians also. The Persian Empire was great, so there's no doubt the Persian Empire would not have extended into Spain. But they were great. They were a great empire.
The Persians conquered Jerusalem. No, they conquered Jerusalem and all that areas. What you call the Levant, Jerusalem, and all that. And actually, the Persians brought a lot of Christians because when the Crusaders came from your almighty Europe, they massacred everybody. They killed the Jews, they killed the Christians, they killed the Muslims, everybody. So the Christians and Jews who fled to Iran, to Persia. That Iran was not existent. That to Persia. There was a king at that point whose name is Cyrus. Cyrus actually was the one who swore that he's going to retake Jerusalem and he's going to bring back the Jews and the Christians back to Jerusalem, which he eventually did by defeating the Crusaders. Let's not even talk about Salahuddin al-Arabi. But please let you go ahead.
All right.
Briefly, let me say, look, before the white man hegemony, all these other powers you've mentioned, from the Moors to Genghis Khan and the Mongolians and the Ottoman Empire, they've all pretty much. If you look at the pattern, is not. In fact, you can say the Europeans took the playbook from these other world powers, the Persians and whatnot. So there's nothing really unique about what. Hold on, there's nothing unique about what the white man is doing. I'm not sure why you guys take harms about criticizing the white man did this and that. That's just all trash. If you want to talk about the Japanese empire and the tyranny in Asia, I mean that's a whole book of another story right there on its own. So again, I don't have a problem with all those things. I'm a very simple guy, and I like to revert back to things that benefit me and my people. I like to learn from other people. I don't get into this back and forth about who's better and all this other stuff. It serves nobody. It doesn't serve anybody, especially me. Learn.
Yeah, okay.
Be like the Chinese. Learn like the Chinese people.
Hold on for him, Hassan. Now, no. Just hold on. You have to let the conversation flow. Sorry, Prince Land.
The Chinese. Again, I love the Chinese people. Just like you said, at one point in time, the Opium War made the Chinese people like nothing. that the society, the economy was run by the British. It was a terrible time for the Chinese people about 100 or 200 years ago. But now China has come a long way. They've learned the playbook. They've come on board and they've become a real superpower. And if someone like Hassan is making the claim that China is a greater superpower than America, fine. I'm not even going to debate that because eventually, officially, it will be recognized by the rest of the world that China is a greater power than the United States. And that's how the world goes. There was Persian Empire. When all this empire from Xerxes or Agierus to Cyrus, these are all great Persian, Middle Persian empires. But where are they right now? At one point in time, where the Roman Empire, where's the Roman Empire now? So America's empire should come and go. There's nothing to lose sweat about it. But let's stick to the facts and try to learn as a people. As far as I'm concerned, black people or African, whatever you want to call us, we are backward as a people. You know, this attempt to try to paint us as very homogeneous or we like very family oriented and all this other garbage that we can't really quantify or put data behind in a real meaningful way, to me is just nonsense. We are in the age of AI now. We moved all the way from steam engine era to industrial era to now we are in past electricity era. You know, in human development to AI right now. At the forefront right now, we have the Chinese and American leading the way, and Europeans are there. What is African doing? We're not talking about that. You guys want to talk about Masa Musa and all this other stuff. Guys, wake up and face. Let's keep.
All right. So Hassan, back to you. Sorry, I'm going to be capping it off at the top of the hour, which is in about 20 minutes. But yes, let's have about 10 minutes from you, Hassan, and then our Prince Daddy will bring it home.
Okay, I'll close this back and forth with Prince Daddy by just saying that while most African countries were carved up in the Berlin Conference and no attention was paid to our the borders were just arbitrarily cut off from each other and all that. That in itself is a travesty. But I also want to draw his attention to that the Chinese are 1 billion plus people. You cannot compare what China can do and in the scale that it can muster resources and the labor, the human capital, to progress at an astronomical.
That's a lazy excuse. That's a lazy excuse. What about Israel? What about the Jewish people?
No. Stop interrupting.
The number is almost irrelevant. Okay, don't make that excuse about Chinese are 1 billion people plus or 1.4 billion. What does it matter?
You know what is irrelevant? Your naivety. Your naivety is irrelevant because if you talk about the Jewish people, this Ashkenazi Khazars who come from distant, barren Eastern Europe, a place where it's now between Russia and Ukraine, who do not have any genetic heritage with the real Jews, who are conquerors, who are propped up by the West, the British, the Balfour Declaration, to just willy-nilly steal people's land, massacre them. Is that your example? Oh, how I don't know the word to qualify.
Listen. I know you're missing the point. No, hold on. You were talking about Chinese people.
Hold on. Oh God, Hassan, what's going on here now? No, just hold on. Hold on. You are not addressing what he said. You mentioned 1 billion. Can you hold on? Hold on, because you were sort of you were going into some sort of sanctimony rather than addressing the central point. You made the reference to 1 billion that you from the mass of 1 billion, then you will get the advancement that the Chinese get, and that Prince dismissed that to say that if you look at the Jewish people as a demography, they're a tiny little demography, but in terms of their contribution to the advancement of science and technology, it's phenomenal. So that nullifies then that mass of numbers that
Okay,
are
okay. Let me ask you, and Prince Daddy, why is not the Jewish or Israel on the Security Council of the United Nations when it was formed in 1945?
What point does that question make?
Answer me. Why are they not on the permanent, seat in the United Nations Security Council?
I'm not sure they were fully formed as a nation then, but why do you think that is?
They were. Let me tell you, because the Balfour Declaration was made, I think, in 1938, and the British mandate actually started enforcing all those. Okay, they made a promise, and then after 1942-3, they started migrating, and then after that, eventually the Britain recognized them, United States recognized them, and all that. But I'm telling you that there is such a thing, that there is so much growth and power and history in multitudes of a big population that cannot be ignored. China is not just any other country. China has a history of more than 5,000 years. And China, obviously, even though at that time they do not have anything like the nuclear weapon or anything like that, but they were given a seat, in at the permanent 5 in the United Nations. Now, Israel does not enjoy that because Israel is, what do we call it? Israel is an aberration. That's just the reality. It is a satellite town proper.
Yeah, but there's a distinction between Israel. Hold on, just hold on, guy. Now, just hold on. You don't have to push it so hard. Israel is distinct and distinguished from Jewish people because the Jewish people actually there was a time they were scattered all over the world. They've only just recently come under the formation of a country. So it's a misdirection to use Israel, a nation, as an example of the impact of the Jewish people. I think the impact of the Jewish people is so well documented that is almost undeniable.
Yes, it is incontrovertible. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So when it comes to advancement in science and technology, computer science.
I was distracted a bit. One man, what did you just say? I was distracted a bit.
I can't remember. I was just in the flow of a thought, so I couldn't even repeat it. But I think Prince Daddy was about to say it. Prince Daddy.
No, yeah, I mean, try to reiterate what you said, one man. I'm saying that the contribution of the Jewish people as a small sliver of people in this world is so immense that it's incontrovertible. That was my point, just like one man was saying. So, other side, I don't know how to even shape the argument or your point about why Israel does not have a seat in the Security Council. I'm not sure what that means anyways. And Nigeria is a bigger nation. How come Nigeria does not? Or any African nation for that matter. So I'm not sure where the argument is supposed to go, Hassan.
And even to widen that, I was just saying what you did, Miss. I was saying that the Jewish people are distinct and separate from Israel because for a very long time the Jewish people were scattered all over the world, and it's only in recent history that they have now coalesced under this nation. You mentioned the Balfour Declaration and all that, so it's only as recent as that the formation of an actual Jewish nation came into being. So it's a bit of a
one man. Will you acknowledge the duplicity of the British in promising the Palestinian people their land and independence, and then going behind their doors and giving the Rothschilds, what ancestrally belonged to the people who reside there, and bringing in white people from Eastern Europe? The guy that parades himself like today as B.B. Milokowski is actually
it's from Poland, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's from Poland or something like that. Netanyahu.
But yeah, but
That's
hold
not
on.
even
You
his
guys
real
make this
name.
argument. I'm not sure the essence of this argument. Just hold on. Just like one man said, the Jews stand. Hold on.
Oh my God!
Just like one man said, the Jews were.
Let me talk to you. Please hold it. Mute him. Oh God! One man. One man.
We're all listening.
Okay, good. God, my God. Hey, Prince Daddy is so passionate about this.
I think we're getting more passion from you than anyone else. But carry on. It's all good stuff.
No.
Yeah, I like that reverse psychology. I mean, you're the one getting excited at the time. Me, I'm just stating things, and I mean, again, hold on. Let me talk now. Just give me a few seconds. See, this argument about one might said it very well. The Jews were scattered around the world. It's well documented all the way to Africa and anywhere else you can mention. Now, Israel, the statehood of Israel brought about the conglomeration of the Jews from all parts of the world to one place, one state. So this issue about Ashkenazi Jews and other stuff, I'm not sure the argument about that. They are Jews, different kind of Jews, just like they have the Mizrahi Jews, the Sephardic Jews. They have all kinds of Jews, okay? And as the Ashkenaz are just European Jews, they're just European jewelry. What's the big deal about that? You can trace Netanyahu's background to Poland. So what's the big deal about that?
The big deal is that. Listen, the big deal is that, Prince Daddy, you talk like the typical brainwashed evangelical American Christian. Even though those set of people in that demographic are usually white, middle-aged people, upward. I don't know what your age is, but all their talking points is what you are echoing right now. And well, you have your freedom to do what you want to do, but I just want to draw your fact that, do you know that Israel, it is illegal to do a DNA test? Do you know that? Why is that? One man, do you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, it is illegal for you to do.
I didn't get it. What about DNA test? What about DNA test?
Hold on, Prince. Why is that? What's the
one man just search it on Google, please, and then you can tell Prince Daddy, so that Prince Daddy will not just be living in an echo chamber all the time. The reason is that they believe in eugenics. That means one race is superior. The real Jews, they are Moroccan Jews, they are Tunisian Jews, they are Iranian Jews, they are Yemeni Jews. Jews are all over. And if you look at the real Jew, he is not.
They're all over except in Europe, right? They're all over except in Europe. That's how biased you are.
They are all what? They are all what?
You name all these countries where they have Jews except in Europe, right?
I don't know why, Prince Daddy. I find it difficult. I have to strain my ears all the time to listen to your accent. But one man, even though is
I think he's driving. That's why, because I think he's speaking through the portal.
It's not. It's not even today. It's almost all the time, and maybe that is the reason why me and him always argue. But
don't listen in Nigerian English. Listen in globalized English.
But I'm not Oyibo and one man. I am a rural Kanuri man.
What do you mean? Yeah, the most educated man on this platform. What are you talking about?
I have no such education. You are just overrating what I know. I'm just a little fish in a very big pond.
Just a Fulani headsman or a Kanuri headsman.
I am a Kaduri who likes his Brabisco, and I like to bask in.
I am. If you can hear me, I am driving. I said you mentioned all these countries where they have Jews, and I said they have Jews all around the world except in Europe, right?
No, not except in Europe. The Jews that are in Europe are of a Kazakh group. Okay, let me remind you. Okay,
Oh,
go back to history.
hold on now. Did you just acknowledge that the Khazars are Jews also? Quite interesting. I just thought you said they were not.
They are not genetically Jews.
And by the way, Hassan, I just checked. It is not. You are partly right. It is not illegal. It is not illegal to do a DNA test in Israel. Hold on. Because hold on, I've just checked now. But it is heavily regulated to the point that it might as well be illegal.
Yeah, good. Why do you think that is? They give exception on medical grounds
Hold on.
anyway.
Let's put it in context. DNA test for what? What do you want to do a DNA test for in Israel?
What are DNA tests used for? To trace your origins?
What are they trying to ascertain? I mean, in Israel, they have all kinds of people. There are Arabs in Israel. I mean, there are plenty of Jews
hold on.
that live in Israel.
Sorry, Hassan. It is to test the authenticity of their Jewishness, and what I think the wider space that Hassan is going to is that if they do open up that portal, then they'll find that there are more Europeans than anything else, and they don't want to open that portal. Is that roughly the point you are making, Hassan?
Yes, there are a lot of American Jews, like people who stay in New Jersey, New York, some parts of California, and all that.
Let me tell you guys. See, to be a Jew is quite. To be a Jew is quite interesting, actually. Hold on, to be a Jew is quite interesting, actually. In the Bible, in the time of the Xerxes, King Xerxes, actually Arabs, there were many people because of the persecution of the Jews, right? There were many people that were non-Jews that converted into Judaism.
You know what? I'm surprised we still have an audience. I thought the conversation will be too highfalutin for our traditionally low-witted audience, but it looks as though some of them are staying with us.
Stop saying that now. Haba. Anybody who tunes into this program, I think she is as good, even maybe better than a lot of us. Most of us are just putting ourselves out there. You don't know who is listening, who is maybe so sophisticated than that is so much ahead of us in all these things that we're saying. So don't underestimate people who are just silently listening, and stop saying things like that. Okay, but anyway, this is it, right? History has shown us that one man, please search for the Russian prince that conquered the Khazars, and ask them to either convert to Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. So that and I want us to make a difference.
Sorry. That conquered. Hold on. That conquered where?
The Khazars stayed in yes, what is now they have a kingdom of their own. So what is now a little bit part of Ukraine and part of Russia, because they were causing so much havoc and they were worshiping Thor and all that Nordic, olden days idol worship. So they were causing a lot of trouble. So in order for him to bring them back into control, he asked them to choose Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. So decided to choose Judaism.
Carry on.
All right. Okay. Have you found it? Have you found it?
Yes, but it's giving me the whole history. It says I'm not going to attempt the name. Svatoslav of Kiev, which is modern day Ukraine.
Yes.
Yes, Grand Prince of Kiev from XYZ campaigned against the Kaiser, took place XYZ, defeated the Kaiser tributary Slavic tribes, and then struck at the Kaiser heartland, seizing fortress, etc. The campaign was widely credited with finishing off Kaisers as a power region. The victory changed the balance of power in Eastern Europe and on the steppes. So I'm looking for, it doesn't say anything about religion, opened up a new trade route and alliances, remembered for his bold mobile style of campaign, moving around rivers and using combined land naval operations. Sorry, maybe I'm asking the wrong questions of but carry on, carry on.
Okay, essentially what happened was the Kairos conversion to Judaism is kind of established by historians, but the popular account is just in the 12th century. The Khazars and their correspondence. There was a process that happened, and in the 8th or 9th century, this King Bulan chose Judaism over Islam. He is like their ruler, because after pressure from that cave, a leader, and then he chose Judaism just to maintain political independence, because that was one of the conditions that he gave him, because they are fomenting so much trouble and they were so morally bankrupt that they could do anything. They do child sacrifice, they do some things that idolatry, demonic worship, things like that. And all that that I would not want to go into. So the conversion was more gradual process, but Jewish merchants and businessmen, because they came into contact with these people a lot, and primarily they affected these people, and then they chose to become Jews, and that was where it happened. So these people are Slavic. Milokoski is a Slavic name. If you look at most of their name, Ben Gurion has a Slavic name. What do they call it? What's the name of this guy too? Ariel Sharon has a Slavic name. What is the name of that woman that ruled them in?
And that was where the Ashkenazi Jews came out of, isn't it? That's Eastern European cusp.
Yes, they are the Khazars. They are the Khazars. And look, they went and took the Torah, like the Judaic book, that is the Old Testament, the Old Testament, maybe, but the Torah, and then they interpreted it, and the Torah, the real Jews, who practice Judaism, do not use the Torah as a spoken language. They read it. But then they don't use it in their day-to-day activity, like every day. So the Hebrew you hear people in Israel speaking today, that language is not more than 120 years old. Some lunatic linguist in Eastern Europe, actually sat down, took the Torah, and then and then he decided to interpret and make it like a spoken language, using words that have deeper meaning and deeper spiritual meaning, and misinterpreting them and then making them become. So he forced his first son not to speak any language except that, and develop some form of arbitrarily morphology, phonology, and structure for that language to be spoken. And that is the origin of the Hebrew you hear them speak today in Israel. That whole language is not more than 120 years old. So if you hear a Moroccan or Yemeni or
you mean the modern version? Because of course, the Jewish people they date through history, and they have a language peculiar to them. So you can't say it's no more than 100.
No. Yeah, that is Aramaic. Remember when Benjamin Netanyahu went to meet the new Pope recently? Do you remember? Have you seen that interaction?
No.
Just Google it too right now. Benjamin Netanyahu visit to congratulate new Pope. There was a little, exchange there where Benjamin Netanyahu tried to gaslight the Pope into saying Jesus spoke Hebrew, and there and then the Pope said, no, Jesus spoke Aramaic. And that Aramaic is the language of Jews, not Hebrew. Hebrew.
Was Aramaic
Christ never spoke Hebrew. Go ahead.
Was Aramaic the standardized language for that region, or was it a language specific to the Jewish people Was it a standard?
Okay.
Because is it a Jewish language or a regional
No,
language?
it's a regional language because they were
it's a regional
under
language.
the
I think
Romans.
that
They were under the Romans. Let me talk now. They were under the Romans as of that time, and the Romans as a superpower, actually controlled swathes of territory, and there are a lot of people coming in and out of several regions, and so they changed governors, bureaucrats, and things like that. So the language in which people communicate with as at the time when Jesus was alive was Aramaic. Nothing like this made up Khazarian, Eastern European, Caucasian.
So in essence, Aramaic is not a Jewish language. So Prince Daddy, let Prince Daddy come in. Hold on, let Prince come in, Prince.
Well, Hebrew language has been there for at least 6,000 or 5,000 years, minimum 3,000 years, no doubt about that. So the notion that Christ was oblivious to Hebrew language tells me where you source your information from. And the Hebrew language, it's well documented. Now, of course, Christ also spoke Aramaic. Okay, that's original language or whatever language some people spoke around there. They did that also, so it's not a big deal. But try to minimize the importance of the Hebrew language is comical, because many scripts, many texts have been written in the Hebrew language. So I'm not sure why the Pope would say Christ never spoke Hebrew. I'm not sure about that, because not everybody spoke Aramaic. Not at all. It wasn't everybody at that point in time who spoke Aramaic.
Prince Daddy, are you telling me you know more than the Pope?
Is the Pope God? Is the Pope God?
You are? Okay, yeah. Now I understand. Now I understand the depth of your illusion. Yeah, even Trump, actually jabbed and indirectly, made jokes at the expense of the Pope.
Well, I can draw a definite conclusion that you suffer from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, because you can't seem to escape that. Anything always circles back to Trump. I'm not sure how Trump came about right now, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. By the way, the Pope is not God.
But I make no apologies.
Sorry?
All right, let's keep the conversation above board. Even I would have built a long time ago, but I'm enjoying the conversation so much. Maybe we should be having these sort of esoteric conversations rather than just talking about, some witless Ukrainian constituting a nuisance in the Nigerian parliament. Maybe we should. Yes. I enjoyed these sort of conversations more than Natasha. Yeah. Carry on.
I actually came in before you run away because I wasn't sure what you meant. I know you have this strong disdain for Natasha, which is fine. But earlier you made a comment about Natasha or women being a vehicle for having babies. I wasn't so clear about what you meant by that. Perhaps you want to expand a little bit more.
No. She was saying that having an abortion is a woman thing, and I was saying that having an abortion is not necessarily just it doesn't just necessarily impact the woman. So it is the woman's body that suffers the process, but the actual abortion itself, the impact is equally felt by both the male and the woman. Maybe not the physicality of the impact, but the wider impact of it is probably more profoundly. Abortion is more of a man thing than a woman thing. The woman
not the abortion. You said that women are a vehicle for having babies.
Yeah.
And okay, what does that really mean?
Is it not just an incubation portal?
Well,
is that to boil it down to the lowest irreducibility? That's essentially what it is. Just an incubator. That is just an incubator.
It's more than that. It's absolutely more than that. It's not like an incubator where a man deposited his sperm and and that's it. No, it's more than that. It's you know, the way you put it earlier make it sound like you dismiss the nature or the essence of being pregnant and having a baby. It's more entailed than just being an incubator. Not at all. I know you dislike Natasha, but um no, no, the woman plays a vital role.
What more is it than incubation pregnancy? Is that not what it is?
Well, woman, the spiritual aspect of it, the even the physical and the natural aspect of having a baby. It's not like I mean, if that been the case, one man, then we can just go have put babies in a test tube, in a human in a lab incubator and just have babies there. But we all know it's beyond that. It's not just a physical thing. There's so much spiritual connection to having a baby, one man, and even the natural part of it. Okay, that's what makes us human beings. It's just beyond the one being an incubator, and the man deposited his sperm
What do you
in the
mean
woman.
by what do you mean by spiritual connect? You know, this spiritual connect is a human construct. It is a societal construct. This spiritual connection that the woman that has to feel more for the baby because they incubated that process, and they've had, the woman has the longest contact with any living being, because everywhere she goes, that being is within her, and then at birth, she nurtures all the way through as well. So, but that's what they are actually trying to, try to inflect as some sort of spiritual connect. But it's just the biological impact of that growth that hormonally impacts you, and then it moves your mood to the point that is constantly on your thought. So it's just a biological function. I'm not quite sure it's a spiritual connect. I think the spiritual connect actually comes more from the man, because that is his progenation. Because every birth is more the progenation of the man than the woman.
One man, I have to agree with Prince Daddy on this one. Now, what for you? Me, for the sanctity of life too. Even though, Prince Daddy has been, trying to be an Islamophobe, but all that. But I agree with him.
Oh, that's
He's
your gripe with Prince Daddy, because you consider him an Iflamo. I was wondering where he was coming from, because I thought you were so similar. I thought you would be friends. So you think he's an
no.
Islamophobe? That's why you are railing against him.
Yes, but in Venn diagrams, there's this sweet spot where
I will accept any label except that. I will accept any label except that. It's not possible I can be an Islamophobe. It's not possible at all. He don't know my background. He just don't know.
It doesn't matter what you say you are. It is the things that you say and what you mean, how passionate you are about things that label.
It's funny to say that. Sometimes this is the challenge that I have. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I even talk about Christians, if you didn't know me, that I was a Christian, if you see me talk about Christians, sometimes.
I just want you to know that I am also pro-life. I am like you. So we have one common ground right now. But so yeah, and go ahead.
But Hassan, it's not even possible for Prince Daddy to be an Islamophobe, because he's a Muslim, as I am as well, and everyone else.
Subhanallah, subhanallah.
Is that not the underpinning of the Islamic religion, that everybody is a Muslim? Is that not the underpinning, that everybody is a Muslim?
Everybody is a Muslim until she becomes matured enough to impregnate or conceive. A woman can conceive. If a man can impregnate, then you are expected that you have your faculty to decide where you want to go and whether you are going to submit to God and live your life accordingly, or whether
explain, because I said Prince Daddy is a Muslim, inviting you into a particular space. Explain the concept of a revert to us. What does a revert mean in Islam?
Okay, well, what that means is in Islam there is this concept of Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. What that essentially means is God is the beneficent and merciful. beneficent in the sense that he is Ar-Rahman. Just because I can be Muslim, destitute, suffer, poor, stricken with illness and all that, and then you can be atheist, agnostic, whatever religion you want to be, and then you can be blessed with good health, wealth, all that, everything. You can have all the best that the world has to offer. That is the beneficency of Allah in Islam. Okay, and then there is Ar-Rahim. So Ar-Rahman is the beneficent, then Ar-Rahim is the merciful. Now, God's mercy is for everyone. So when you revert, then God's mercy has reached you. Therefore, you are part of the fold. You just went for a sabbatical, and now you are back into the fold.
All right. I think that's a bit of tequila by a son there. Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me hold on now. Hold on.
You guys like to take these bits and take it out of context to suit your narrative. Let me tell you.
We know what tequila is. It's obfuscation.
You do not know. You have no clue. No atom of clue what tequila is. You are just going with your assumptions.
Is it not to mislead the infidel for the greater good? It's obfuscation.
No. That is not it. Well, let me explain this to you. Okay. Now, imagine you are at your home and somebody breaks into your home armed to the teeth. Okay, and then shows you the barrel of the gun, and then asks you if you are something or you are the one that did so and so, and you are very sure that that person do not know whether you are the one or not. In that instance, would you agree that yes, you are the one, knowing fully well that you could be harmed? What would you do? Would you lie to free yourself, or would you just say, because I'm this moral purist, I'm going to say the truth even I'm going to die?
All right, I think we're still within the same bracket. But let me say, hold on. No, I don't. Hold on. I don't want to get bogged down in that. I want. My concept of a revert, my understanding of a revert, and this is what all the Muslims I know have told me, is that in Christianity you have evangelism, which is to widen the net and recruit, for want of a better word, or other people, other faiths into the religion. So that's to convert to Christianity. But that process in Islam is called a reversion. And the reason why it is called a reversion is because that religion believes that everybody is born a Muslim. So if you as a Christian, you as a Buddhist, if you decide to take on Islam, you are not actually converting to it by their own prism of understanding. You are reverting to what you originally were, because their concept of the whole structure is that every single being is born a Muslim, and therefore if they come to Islam, they're reverting back to their original state of being.
Yes, that is also true. That is also true. I took a hypothetical to explain it to you so that you understand. Okay. Is it reverting you're talking of, or tekiya?
No. I was talking about revert, and then you took us on some journey that wasn't quite the definition,
Okay.
and that was why I accused you of tekiya.
Okay. I want on tekiya, but reverting is what exactly you said. Yes, everybody bikatabi rizqihi wa amalihi wa ajalihi wa sa'idun aw ghaniyun. So when even you are in your mother's tummy gestating, even at this first trimester, that is when all these things will be inculcated into you, and then when you are born and you are alive, you begin to feel and begin to grow. Then you begin to feel that there is a higher power that watches over you, and you feel this force in the universe. And for some of us who are not Islamic or who are not religious. That force, exists, and that is God. And depending on how you intend to relate with God and worship Him, He is there. So reversion in Islam means that yes, everybody is born a Muslim, and then if you, for example, did something else and then you come back to Islam, then you revert.
They lose their way and they come back. So Prince Daddy cannot be an Islamophobe for reasons of being a Muslim already anyway. So maybe we should call Prince Daddy Abdul Rahman. Prince Abdul Rahman Daddy.
One man, I don't believe you. I think you're pulling my legs.
No, I was only joking. All right, guys. I think we should go to bed. Do you want to give do you want to give just a tiny little flavor on this really the topic that brought you in? I think it was the mining ranger, and then maybe we cap it after that. You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. The whole thing just made me laugh. Like, yeah, come on, who came up with this name, mining ranger? I think it's not suit for purpose. Any document for me to go and see, what it's all about, how they intend to do what they want to do, anything like that. Can you point me to something like that so that I can form an informed position? But the way I see it now, like mining rangers, mines rangers. Hi, now wow.
It may well just be a working title, but I think outside of task force, then they cannot call them mine. Is it that mining rangers or mining guard or mining task force now? They can't call them mining police.
There's this duplicity and duplicity. Civil defense are doing it. The police are doing it. Well, we have forest rangers. We have what do they call them? What do they call these people that carry and in games reserve carry double barrels? We have all this duplicity will not save it. Let them do what is necessary. Let them recruit more people in the police force and create a special unit that the police is quite corrupt. I doubt maybe they will go and start getting the gold too and selling it. But even these mine rangers too, I am not sure if they get to the field, they will not give them their cut. Something, deploy technology. That is the only thing we can do. Deploy technology, and do a complete scan of all those places, like do it from 15,000-20,000 feet from a specialized aeroplane that carries some form of array or laser that beams in and sees what is going on, and then creates all the necessary evidence and locations and geomap it, and then come back to base, strategize the number of people who are operating there, what are their escape routes, all that, and then work on it, identify the key people who are involved in this, and then approach it strategically. If not, this one where you go carry semi-illiterate person, give am gun, say make he enter bush, go meet these people who carry sophisticated arms. Sometimes these people are given deliveries with helicopters, and they have places where they land, private jets in the bush and load it and get out of Nigeria. Often they are transponders and all that. I don't think these people would do it. How many are they?
We don't know. It's still at the reading stage. But Patrick joins us, Patoski. I think he's come for the religious ghost gas. So it was the religion that brought you in, wasn't it, Patrick?
Well, then on that note, sorry, to Hassan, a quick search. I guess AI spewed it out. Yes, Jesus spoke Hebrew along with Aramaic and Greek while Aramaic is likely primary language for daily life, he would have known Hebrew as a
Hebrew is not meant to be spoken. Hebrew is the language of the Bible. It is meant to be read, and rabbis intercede to interpret it. Don't you understand that?
No, wait. Let's correct that.
It should be read to what understanding. If you
No,
don't
let's
have,
correct.
yeah,
Let's correct that. Let's
yeah.
correct that.
It is not. It is not everything can have.
Chairman, let's correct
All
something.
right, hold on for Patoski. Yeah,
You see, the Hebrew language was the language of the Jewish people, the Israelites, up till after the second temple. When the first temple were destroyed, they were taking...
Sorry, Pato. Are you logged in as a host?
No. Can
You
you
are.
hear me?
Yeah, no, you are logged in as a host now. I can see you are logged in as a host.
Yeah.
Okay, so le ban kwate ba ti ṣetán.
Èmi ò ní pẹ́ sùn.
Oh, okay, me go next question. But okay, we'll give it another
I've not been
20
feeling too fine.
minutes.
That's why I didn't join. Yeah.
Yes.
The
Carry
Hebrew
on.
was the language that was spoken by the Hebrew people, by Jewish people, and the Israelites. Let me not just say Jewish, because the current day Jewish are the Benjamites and the people of Judah. That's the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom, the Benjamites and the Judah. Now, the point is that after the first temple and the destruction of first temple, and when they were taken to Babylon, the first temple, when they were taken to Babylon, they stayed there for long, and they picked certain culture and stuff like that. They definitely spoke the language of those people. But the Hebrew, the Hebrew scriptures were still in the Hebrew language. You understand? So most of the time, it looks like Hebrew was their language, but as time went on, Hebrew became the religious language. It's just like you go to Catholic Church, they say Latin in Mass, but it was the language of the Hebrew people. Jesus Christ was a Hebrew man.
Sorry, Patoski. I'm going to take it to the background. If anybody wants to come in. The super chatters are Hassan right there, Ayo, and Tima Jack. So thank you to the three of them. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Sorry, Karen Patoski. Anybody that wants to continue
thanks,
come in. Yeah.
One man. Good night.